Welcome back, Overwatch fans, to another amazing night.
We have a fantastic match tonight, no question about it.
Oh my god, yes!
With the barrage! Make sure they can't even follow up afterward.
And Watch has found 2 in this fight thus far. Make that 3, make that 4 right now here. Dynamic team gets a 4-man tire.
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
100 gets 3 with the primal rage.
Experience tranquility.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else in between, good evening and welcome to Tranquility Season 9 preseason coverage. With 1 week before the season starts, it's time for us to crown our preseason champions, starting in the North American Harmony tier, where the 2-time champions in the Flashbacks face off against the underdogs in Strix. Who will be the first to claim the title of Season 9 preseason champion? There's only one way to find out. My name is Bowsy, and I'm joined here by Delphi on the cast, Booth on production, and Phineas on observing. Delphi, how are you doing this fine day?
I am doing very well. I'm very excited for this matchup. You know, Flashbacks, Strix, both looking like super strong teams going into it. I think this is going to be a really, really good preseason final here, and I think it's going to set the stage for the rest of the season going forward. Obviously, that changes once we get into Overwatch 2. You know, that can throw the whole bracket on its side, but you know, I think they'll lay a nice path for both these teams going into Stage 1 here as we start our season next week. Absolutely crazy. We're already back in it.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy that we're back into it. And you said both of these teams really strong thus far through our preseason. Strix had to play 3 matches, and all 3 of those matches were 3-0s against Fighting Potatoes, ET Mammoths, and Ace High. Flashbacks, on the other hand, they had a bye in the first round, but still had some very tough matches between Galactic Penguins and Big Bang Buccaneers, 3-1 and 3-2 respectively, which I believe is the weakest we've seen Flashbacks in the preseason thus far. So there is the potential for an upset, but this is Flashbacks we're talking about. They are probably the favorites heading into this season already from the get-go because Flashbacks are such a stacked org.
Absolutely. Flashbacks has always been a heavy hitter almost every season. Well, the entire Nostalgia org and all 3 tiers have been just consistently so good in pretty much every season going forward, except last when they weren't in, when none of the Nostalgia players were, or none of the Nostalgia teams were in any of the tiers. But you know, I think they're going to come back swinging, come back hard. It's going to be a really good match, and I hope it's close, and I hope that the first one for the season, the first cast back, is going to be phenomenal. I'm very hopeful here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we head into our first map here of the day, it's going to be Busan to start off the this series. It is a first to 4, so the first one to win 4 maps wins the series and wins the preseason championship. And Busan is a very interesting map to start off on here, Delphi.
Yeah, honestly, I love Busan. You can play a handful of different comps on each point, and you get such a wide variety of different comps. You can play Brawl when you go into Mecha Base. Downtown, you usually see that 6-man, but you can also run that ball comp too. And out here, we are on Sanctuary to begin with, and I'm excited to see if we have some of these ball comps coming up. We do have that on the side of Strix, but we have more of a bunker kind of comp on the side of Flashbacks here. So this will definitely be interesting to see how Flashbacks are able to handle this ball and this hog that are notorious for just surviving every engage and being able to get so much value by living.
Yeah, absolutely. The ball and hog can definitely be interesting. Flashbacks running that double shield composition. We'll see what these two teams come out with and how well it's going to be as we begin the preseason finals here for the Harmony tier with both of the teams rocking out on these comps. Surprising to still see Koala on that hog, though.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see if Koala ends up switching it all, because against this shield and the Diva, they're not really going to get a ton of value. It's going to be hard to kind of get in without getting chunked down, but it'll be interesting to see what Koala can do with it.
Flashback taking the right drum approach here as Strix trying to make their way over to the point. They have this farmer seat in the sky, courtesy of Doa, Mr. Kraken. That's a big hook coming in for Koala, but Pasty fortified and shoots Koala straight into the head. Already one pick here in favor of the Flashbacks. Make that a second as Saki is able to get the kill onto Jimbo. And it's going to be Flashbacks capping the point first.
Yeah, I think that was a massive hook to open it up, but I think they Koala ended up getting the wrong target. You know, the Orisa just has so much sustain, especially with the bat behind them. It's just kind of impossible to chunk them down. If you would have gotten a squishy, it would have opened it up, but it looks like Koala is just going to try to get point here. They don't even actually, you know, they can't even stabilize after the fight.
Absolutely, and another hook coming out from Koala. Once again onto Pasty, and J Ninja is able to finish out the kill here. Now Strix start making their way in. Doha is able to get the kill on a Thuggington. That's a third kill here for Strix. They're starting to clean up these picks, and Flashbacks eventually might be losing this point. The barrage is invested here from Doha. Gets killed out by Azino, but again, it's going to be Strix cleaning up the fight and taking the point for themselves.
This Strix comp just has absolutely so much sustain against the Flashbacks, Orisa, and honestly, like, the damage on the side of Flashbacks isn't a ton. You got the Torb, you got the Ash. We actually were seeing a swap off the Torb onto a Tracer. But there's not like a ton of burst damage to burst down this ball and this hog. So as long as everybody else lives, even if one gets picked, they can still easily turn a fight like we just saw.
So now we're heading into the next fight here. Flashbacks still want to shake this rotation here. Big pile drive coming out from Auntie, and another big hook coming out from Koala. Doesn't get any kills, but still, the pressure is there. The Immortality Field as well from Thuggington is gone. As Zeno, great headshot onto J Ninja there, eliminates the Tracer threat here for the side of Flashback. But the mines are invested here by Optibot to try and separate the members, and it's able to get the kill on as Zeno as I say that. So now, Flashbacks, looks like they're going to have to go back to the drawing board as Koala is also able to finish off Pasty again.
Absolutely. That hook on the Pasty was massive, because not only did you get the hook and bring the Orisa out into the rest of your team, but also you hook them into mines, which is honestly one of my favorite things to do on Hog is hook someone through mines and boost your ball's stats a little bit by hitting that hook. And it's solidified a really big kill on that Orisa. The rest of the cleanup was pretty easy.
So now it's going to be yet again another engage from Flashbacks. We'll have to see, but Doha's already found two! Doha on this Pharah with the Pharmacy composition is working wonders here for Strix, and so far they've done a really good job of holding back Flashbacks with it.
Absolutely. You know, Doha's getting tons of value on these rotations as Flashbacks are trying to get into position. They're not clearing that space above them. Like, they might be trying to poke them out, but it's not enough, because Doha with the Mercy Pocket, it's a lot of spam damage to some of these rotations, but this time we're seeing them go coast side. We're seeing Flashbacks go coast side and see if they can make a little bit of space here. But Saki goes down already.
Yeah, not a good start here for the side of Flashbacks as Saki's already dead. That's basically your threat for most of the composition the Strix are running, especially that Zenyatta of Yojimbo. Now Flashbacks, they still want to try to commit into this. The drum is used here by Pacey to try and get the kill. A big hook comes out from Koala, but it's onto the bomb, and he just gets melted. The Transcendence from Yojimbo is late. It's not going to be able to save him, but overtime is triggered here for the side of Strix as the rest of the members start falling a little bit. Optibot will be back here on the contest, and Doha gets the 2-game barrage. It gets eaten up by Kiddo on the Diva, and Azino is able to get the kill, but still, Strix are still in this fight. Mr. Kraken unable to get the res, but Jaden just found Coconut, but the rest of the members aren't there. It's going to be Flashbacks taking it back with 99% for Strix.
Absolutely. It'll be really interesting to see if Strix is going to take this opportunity to maybe take a little bit of space. It doesn't look like it. They're kind of holding back and going to start poking, which is going to give Flashbacks a little bit of room to stabilize here, get the rest of their team back. And now that they're fortified, they don't have to worry about rotations. They should theoretically be able to just hunker down and survive some of the spam damage that's coming through. But it'll be interesting to see if Optibot can just force them out into the Pharah LOS.
Let's see, Optibot does have these mines, tries to go for the pile drive, gets spooked away, but still is trying to apply the damage, and Koala finds the kill onto Saki. He's on the point, trying to contest it, and the bomb comes out from Kiddo, doesn't get anything here. Flashbacks trying to save this fight, but it might not be left for them, but they still are hunkering down on the point. Strix looking for their engage here. The Valkyrie is used here by Mr. Kraken, and the Pulse Bomb from J Ninja doesn't get anything, but Strix are still pushing forward, and Jimbo has found the main tank of Pasty. That is big here for Strix as they continue trying to put pressure here on the point. J Ninja ends up dying, so now Strix are down one of their main DPS picks, but Flashbacks are still trying to stabilize themselves. Strix trying to do everything they can as overtime is now triggered, 99-99, and Thuggington is dead. Doha able to find a rocket straight to his cranium, and now Azito dies as well. Strix trying to finish out these kills that they need. They just need to cap this point and be able to hold it for a little bit longer. Coconut with the rally trying to kill out Jimbo will get the assist from Kiddo, but Optibot is able to eliminate them as Flashback still trying to bring this back. J Ninja switches over to the Cassie, is able to eliminate Saki with the flashbang, but now he's dead as well. It's back and forth. This entire fight has been nothing but that, but Kiddo's the only one remaining here for Flashback. Does have the bomb, gets the kill onto Doha thanks to the help of Thuggington, and it's gonna be Flashbacks taking the first point here on Busan.
What an absolute scrappy fight. That was just back and forth for like 2 minutes. Just, kills coming in from each side, people respawning, coming back and getting their own picks. This shows how good of a caster Bowsy is, that he didn't have to take a breath that entire time during that fight. He's casting the whole thing. These fights are just kind of all over the place. Honestly, it's hard to tell who's up at any given moment, because one side will get 2 picks, then the other side will get their 2, and then by that time the respawns are coming back as well. And it's absolutely massive that Flashbacks are able to come back and win that after they kind of struggled at the beginning.
Absolutely. So Flashbacks now, we're heading over to Mecha Base, which is mostly the Brawl map, and no surprise to see here, Delphi, Brawl on both sides.
Yes, you love to see it, honestly. Nothing like a good old-fashioned Overwatch brawl. Just tanks facing each other, running it down, or Thuggington getting picked right off the bat, which pretty much solidifies a win for Strix here.
I mean, depends on who you are. You like to see Thuggington get picked off first. But anyway, Flashbacks, now without their main healer, they're starting to struggle a little bit. Pasty and Azino will die, and it's just going to be a retreat here for the side of Flashbacks as Strix win the first engage, and they're going to be getting the first cap here on Busan.
Yeah, that pick was absolutely massive. It was so important to solidify that fight. Once the BAP goes down, they don't have immortality. There's absolutely no way to just survive like a Rhine swinging in them or any of the damage coming in from a Cassidy. So it's really hard to survive that, but have a few ultimates coming out here already.
Yeah, window use here by Yojimbo, able to melt down Pacey, and J-Ninja's able to get that final kill into Azino, and they know the Cassidy of Saki is there, just lurking in the background, unable to get that kill on the Optibot there, and it's going to be another fight win here for Strix, 19% and counting.
Yeah, I'm sure Strix is very happy with how quick that fight went. All they had to do was invest window, and they were able to farm a freeze off of that, which theoretically is another win condition here, so we'll see how they are going to be able to use it, but it looks like we do have Flashbacks going down the stairs and taking a little bit of a longer angle and making sure that they can get out. Another pick, though, automatically right off the bat.
Yeah, Saki unfortunately missed the train, and Doha was able to find them out when they least expected it. So Flashback's already in a disadvantage. The Blizzard is invested here by Doha. The bomb from Koala, the Deadeye from J-Ninja. They're throwing everything in the board, and they're able to get the kills that they need. It's going to be a reset here for Flashbacks, but a lot of ults invested by Strix.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if any of those ults were necessary. Like, the freeze was big, they had a lot of them, but they already got the pick on the Cassidy, and Flashbacks was up against the wall. Like, theoretically, the Rhine just swings into that, and all that damage comes in, so I'm sure they're kicking themselves in the butt right now for using all of that. Flashbacks coming in with a handful of ults on their own, so let's see if they're able to capitalize on that and, win the fight here.
Shatter comes out early here from Optibot. Is able to knock down, I believe, only 1 or 2 to the ground, but no kills resulted. And in fact, Pacey's able to eliminate Doha. Now Kiddo finds the kill into J-Ninja. No DPS left here for the side of Strix as they start falling one by one. Great charge there from Pacey's. He just goes straight into the back line, and it's going to be Flashbacks taking this point back into their favor.
Yeah, Strix definitely isn't happy about their over-ulting commitment that they had on that previous fight. So when that fight was pretty much just like locked and sealed in for Flashbacks to take. But they have a few more of those ultimates back, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to take any of that space. We're starting out with the Shatter, doesn't connect. The beat coming in, they're just going to push right through and force it.
Yeah, block comes out from Opti. Really good play there. Doha gets killed out by Doha actually gets the kill on Azino. Excuse me, but still Flashbacks. 3 kills in this fight thus far. Kiddo has to use the bomb because of the mech loss, but it's going to be another win here for the side of Flashbacks. And they'll continue holding.
That was absolutely a massive freeze. So crucial to win that fight. I think 4 ended up getting frozen during that fight, so the rest, all of Flashbacks could just kind of walk around and just clean up all these targets that can't do anything about it. So that was a massive freeze to turn that fight.
So now Strix are going to be taking this right side approach, go closer to the coast. Thuggington uses the window, as does Yojimbo. The Deadeye comes out here from J-Ninja. Needs to hit something and is able to hit Coconut. That's a big pick already here for Strix. Now they need to try to find a little bit more because Flashbacks have found a kill on the Doha, and Optibot's able to find Pasty. Now there's no main take for the side of the Flashbacks as they push forward fast and ready for that point. Optibot finds 4 in this fight, and Strix are going to be able to cap back the point. 64% going over to the Flashbacks.
Strix did a really good job of sustaining there and being able to live some of the ultimates that came into them, live Flashbacks engage, and they were able to just stabilize it and walk in, and Flashbacks is being forced to go underneath due to the time restraints. Massive Shatter coming out for Strix. I think this is just a cleanup for Strix at this point.
Yeah, pretty much the Shatter and the bomb there from Strix, just cleaning up the field as the rest of Strix just clean up the remaining members. It's just Kiddo left. He won't be able to touch. And we're going to map 3 here on Busan, 1-1, heading into downtown.
Absolutely. Honestly, this match is exactly like I thought it was going to be. It's really scrappy. It's really close. The back and forths are really good. you know, downtown will be really interesting to see. Most teams usually run some kind of 6-man variation here. Sometimes they run a ball comp. It looks like we're getting 6-man on both sides. It'll be interesting to see which side can kind of capitalize on the damage from the Reaper and off of the hacks from either of the Sombras. And it'll definitely be interesting to see who can come out on top on this comp, because we already saw them run a variation of different comps on the other side, but here comes 6-man.
Absolutely, 6-man compositions coming out here from both sides. We'll see which team gets the better of it as they start heading towards the middle here with those two compositions. You already see the sides taking the advantage. It's going to be Flashbacks who get the health pack first, I believe, so they already have that health pack control. That means Strix, they're just going to walk over to the point. No pressure in that health pack, don't worry about it. And Pacey's already dropped extremely low here thanks to Strix. Flashbacks still trying to apply pressure here. Strix have this point on lockdown, but do not have the control point unlocked yet, so it's going to be a little bit before we actually see some sort of depths here, but so far it's just back and forth balls, waiting for the right moment to hit the big, crucial kill. Flashbacks looking for it, a big hack on a Pacey, and Optibot's able to finish him off, and now Flashbacks down their main tank. The Coalescence invested here by Mixer Kraken is going to ensure Strix the point.
Strix doing a really good job at playing patient, waiting for that Coalescence to come in, playing the natural cover on point, and around Monkey Bubble as well to stay alive, but farm that Coalescence, and that basically secures a fight. Whoever gets Coal first in these fights, like that initial fight, usually is the one that can end up turning in, unless your team just manages to survive the Coalescence that comes out. But absolutely massive for Strix to get that Coal and play patiently, and then as soon as they have that advantage with the Coalescence, just walk right in and take advantage of that.
Strix also now gotta be careful because Azino has that EMP, but already Doha uses this. There's 11 hacked people on the field right now. I just want to make sure that there's 11 hacked people, but Flashbacks are getting the advantage. The beat comes out here from Yojimbo, but it only connects onto J Ninja, so Strix in a very bad disadvantage here. The bomb is invested here from Kiddo, as is the beat from Coconut, as Flashbacks look like they're going to be claiming this point back for themselves, but this is a graveyard composition. It could be a while before they actually get the point for themselves.
Absolutely. You know, we already have Optibot waiting to touch point again, just going to stall it out. I don't imagine they're going to live very long, but you get to those extra seconds. They end up capping with 62% on behalf of Strix, so that's absolutely massive for Strix. You know, if I was them, I'd be happy about that. We have the Blossom, they have the Diva Bomb, they have the Primal to make space. You know, they have the resources to take it, but so do Flashbacks, honestly, with their own Coalescence coming up. You know, that should be a quick wipe for the team, at least to make space and stabilize and try to get a little bit more of a percentage here as we go into the next fight. And we see them doing it early like they should.
Yeah, Thuggington used that Coalescence early as Flashbacks start pushing the advantage. Optibot stuck in a corner. The Blossom comes out from J Ninja though and is able to eliminate Thuggington. Saki is able to eliminate Koala, but Koala gets a 2K bomb from the grave, and Strix will be taking this point back for themselves here. Only about 40% taken here by the side of Flashbacks as Kiddo tries to stall it out for a little bit longer so that they can try to get more progress on the point.
Absolutely. These teams are on like the same page at this point. You know, there was 11 people hacked at one time. There were 6 dies that came out, voice line that just came out at the end of that fight because they were both using Blossom at the same exact time. You know, these teams, they both have the same ideas of what they want to do. It's just Strix are taking advantage of some of these little cooldowns a little bit better and trying to really optimize their play here. In Flashbacks, it looks like they're trying to force a little bit more than they're comfortable doing.
Absolutely. They now Strix pushing back with the Coalescence. It's a 3-man EMP coming out from Azito, but he dies to Mixer Kraken. That's massive here for the side of Strix. That means that hack is no longer in play, and J Ninja eliminates Pacey as well. There's 95% here for the point. Strix looking really strong. They have found the picks that they need. All that's left is this Reaper of Saki. His overtime is triggered, and they will unfortunately succumb to fate. Coconut is able to get the beat off, but just gets EMP'd. Those shields gone in an instant as the rest of Strix clean up the picks, and eventually it will be Strix taking the first map in this series. They just have to deal with Pasty, who's once again hacked. Life of a main tank player there for you, as Strix clean up the point and take the first map in this series.
I'm sure if I was Strix right now, I'd be so excited to be able to take that. That's really good motivation going into the next map. You know, you got the hype going in from taking that win. It was close, but Strix definitely had the edge going on in there. You know, 2 fights in a row that Azino had EMP. He threw it in, used the EMP, and died immediately. So the EMP honestly didn't get much follow-up because they were taking that fight at 5v6 at that point. So Azino definitely not, you know, playing their life necessarily as much. They're just going for those EMPs, and it's not working out. So it's very interesting, but I'm sure Strix is very excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. Strix must be really happy about taking a first map off of Flashbacks, considering how well Flashbacks are known to be. This is probably one of the best Harmony tier teams that we've ever had in Tranquility history. 2 championships, one of the only teams to ever win repeat championships. So Flashbacks have a very good history here in Tranquility, but now they're already down 1-0 in the playoff, in the preseason finals. We're heading over to our next map here, which is going to be in the choice of Flashbacks, our 2 CP map. So we'll see what they choose between Hanamura, Anubis, and Volskaya. Which map do you think they would best choose here, Delphi?
Honestly, it's kind of a toss-up. It looks like they ended up picking Volskaya, but I mean, all 3 maps kind of have their own unique play style in a way, and it really just depends on which one they feel the most comfortable going into. If they want to run some kind of ball or dive on Volskaya, or if they wanted to run like a double shield defense on Temple of Anubis. So it kind of just comes down to their comfortability, and it looks like they're picking that Volskaya, which is kind of more known for that dive, maybe ball, or that Monkey Diva style of composition. And let's see if they're able to kind of pick up that pace when they go into some of these fights and just kind of outrun Strix here and get them kind of on their heels. Because that's the thing with Strix. Strix is looking really good when it comes to stabilization. Flashbacks they got the Mega hacked immediately on that last point, and they were able to take so much space, but Strix just stabilized on point, and they were able to survive until their coalescence came out. So, Flashbacks are trying to force so much stuff into Strix, but they have so much stabilization. They're playing so disciplined that it doesn't really matter the Flashbacks tempo. Strix is just able to survive it. So let's see if Flashbacks is able to recognize that and maybe force some mistakes on the side of Strix, or try to just force some kind of win condition without even needing an ultimate. There are definitely ways that they could do that. Let's just hope that Flashbacks is able to kind of recognize that going into this next map.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what the result is here from Flashbacks. Says it's going to be Volskaya once again for our next map. It's going to be Flashbacks on the defense, Strix on the attack first. So we'll see which team is able to get the better of them here as we're preparing for our next map in this series. I mean, definitely, we saw strength from Flashbacks when they were running that sort of Orisa Diva composition. So this makes sense in a way, Delphi. Their only map that they won there on Busan was Sanctuary, where they were running that Orisa Diva.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if they pull something out similar like that on the defense here and just kind of play these off angles and take picks at Strix while they're doing the rotations. But, Strix, again, just looking really strong on some of these other compositions, so it'll be interesting to see. We do have that Orisa Diva coming out from Flashbacks, so we'll see if they're able to hold this high ground here and not be forced out. But a ball and monkey on the side of Strix, that's going to be a lot of pressure on the back line of Flashbacks. So it'll be really interesting, especially with that Farm Mercy. It'll be interesting to see if Flashbacks is able to sustain some of that damage coming in, and if Strix is able to just focus down some of that Pharah damage with their double main tank composition, to see if they're able to focus down some of that Pharah damage and get picks. I think all it really will take is one pick on the side of Strix. Strix getting one pick on Flashbacks, and I think Flashbacks will kind of just fall over here. So it's really up to Flashbacks to sustain some of this damage and survive until they're able to get an advantage.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see how this anti-dive comp from Flashbacks works into the favor of them as Strix start coming out on the attack with this Farm Mercy comp, as you mentioned. So we'll see what the move is. Strix start making their rotations as necessary. And Coconut's already booped off Optibot. That is not how you start a fight in whatsoever way. So already a disadvantage here for Strix, as Coconut really good awareness knowing that ball would come in that specific area.
Exactly, Coconut doing their job perfectly. Against the ball, the Brig's #1 job is just to deny the ball entry, and they just denied the ball the ability to play the game at all. They said, hey, you look a little dirty, you should go take a bath, and Optibot was like, all right, I'm gonna go take a bath, and went right into the drinks. So that was a really good pick to begin with. And then we have Kiddo taking off Doa here, kind of feeding for it a little bit, but it doesn't really matter that much because Strix is already down a handful.
Yeah, definitely. Kiddo will end up dying to Yojimbo, but still, as you mentioned, it's not going to be a lot here, considering that the rest of Strix are pretty much down right now. It's only Koala on the point, and he will be burnt to the ground. And it's going to be Flashbacks doing a really good hold here, already shaving off a minute off the clock, and Yojimbo's going to get staggered.
Yep, Coconut doing an absolute banger job on this Brig right now, doing everything they're supposed to, being, aggressive when they need to be, or just kind of playing their life and denying ball. So I'm really excited to see how well Coconut performs against this dive comp, because honestly, the Brig is really important in this, and Coconut is already showing a really good job at denying their composition.
So now Strix coming in on the attack with this next fight. They don't have any ults online, so they have to be careful about what they're doing. And you already see Doha just trying to peek out the background. J Ninja looking for the flank, but Coconut and Azino know that they are there. As they make the dive in, Koala straight into the backline here as the Molten Core is used here by Buell to try and separate the separate the members. But Koala has a Primal Rage, has already knocked out Azino, and is now trying to eliminate a little bit more, just knocking the members of Flashbacks off of this high ground, and it's opening the door here for Strix to try and get the kills. Bomb is used here by Kiddo, and he's able to eliminate J Ninja. That's not expected as Doha's able to get the kill onto Thuggington with the barrage, but ends up dying in the aftermath. The anti-nade goes straight onto Blau, but there's no damage from anybody else on Strix as Flashbacks get another hold.
Opening up, that was looking really good for Strix. They had the ball engaged to force cooldowns like Immortality and Brig Bash, and then the Monkey with the Nano went in afterwards with the Primal as well and killed a ton of the backline, especially with the Pharah damage coming in. You know, it was looking really good for Strix, but Flashbacks is now the ones that are able to just sustain their life so much, and they played that very well, that counter. They dropped when they needed to. Granted, they kind of got booped down by the Primal and by the Pharah, but, you know, they played the low ground, they played the natural cover, they were able to sustain, which is absolutely massive for Flashbacks. Like, they look completely different than they did last map.
Yeah, definitely. Flashbacks showing their worth. J Ninja is able to eliminate the Immortality field coming up in Thuggington. Now the window is used from him as well. And Kiddo, once again, has Doha's number this entire match. This Pharmacy comp has been really rough for Strix. It got them a little bit of success last time, but now it's a whole different story.
Absolutely. Kiddo's going deep to get this kill on Doha and Kraken, and, you know, he's not getting contested for it. He's just kind of going in their backline. If I was Strix here, I'd turn around on that and kind of anticipate that they're going to want to look at our Far Mercy, so might as well turn around and see if we can deny that. But, you know, they're kind of just sending their front line in and saying, well, if our backline, if our Far Mercy dies, then kind of, oh well. But we have a big swap here to Brawl, which is an interesting decision, to get, especially against a poke comp. Like an Orisa with an Ashe and a Torb. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get the point, and if they can, how they're able to sustain against all that poke coming in from the high ground that they can't really contest.
Doha also has to be careful. There's no mercy pocket for him anymore. Now it's left as the Ana and the Lucio as Strix trying to make their way in, but they keep getting forced off the point, and they're unable to touch because of the pressure coming out from Flashbacks. That's going to be a full hold here from Flashbacks here on Volskaya Industries. A rapid turnaround after that loss on the first map.
Flashbacks played that so well, so incredibly well. They denied the dive multiple times. They were able to sustain the Pharah damage. You know, it looks like Strix just kind of got a little unorganized. They'd have really good engages, but then once it got to that mid-fight, they were kind of all over the place. You know, it didn't seem like they were necessarily focusing a target with that Pharah damage and getting onto that target. You know, they kind of were ignoring the D.Va who was just, you know, free roaming on their Far Mercy. So you know, Flashbacks playing that really well. Strix just kind of getting lost in the sauce in a way. And you know, all in all, I think Flashbacks is looking really strong now. So, you know, I don't know if Capital gave them some kind of motivational speech between maps, but Flashbacks came out swinging, and they're letting Strix, you know, you took the first one. It's going to be really hard to take the next 3.
Yeah, definitely. Flashbacks coming out swinging as they look like they want to try to run a Far Mercy of their own here on the attack. Strix sticking with this ball from Optibot, which is not really common. Ball on defense can be interesting, especially here on Volskaya with all its tight corners.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if Optibot is able to go in on Doha's damage, they will be able to get an immense amount of value. But, you know, we have the D.Va, we have Kiddo again on D.Va on Flashbacks, and if Kiddo just denies the Far Mercy as well as, like, even half as well as he did on their defense, then, you know, they're not really going to get a ton of value from Doha here.
Great save here from Optibot to make sure to see what Flashbacks are running as Flashbacks come out here on their attack. Thuggington might be caught out in the open. I do not know how Thuggington could not hear a 500-pound ball right behind him, but we're going to ignore that and see the Flashbacks make their way over to the point, already getting a lot of damage into the side of Strix. But Pacey's already dropped very low, but Kiddo finds the first kill on the J Ninja. It's a massive pickoff here for the side of Flashbacks as they start cleaning out the point, as Zeno is able to finish out Mixer Kraken, and now Flashbacks. It was a really good hold. It's going to be an even better cap here. Flashbacks clean up the remainder of Strix, and this series is tied up heading into map number 3.
Absolutely massive value coming from Kiddo there, just running like into their backline for free. Like Kiddo is, to put it kind of lightly, just going like kind of almost feeding, but he's getting so much value that it's not. And Strix is having such a hard time being able to sustain that one-person dive. Kiddo dove 4 people there and was able to get the Mercy, and they was able to make space to, or they were able to get the Pharah and then was able to make space to try to get the Mercy on the res. So, you know, I thought Coconut was carrying the team in the beginning and with that Brig gameplay, but Kiddo is just getting so much value denying that Pharah Mercy that Strix was kind of taking that fight down to every time.
Yeah, definitely. Really good job there from Flashbacks to adapt to the situation, choose the right map for them, and be able to counter what Strix was throwing at them. They pretty much had Strix's number that entire time. Maybe there was like 1 or 2 picks, but still, it was almost a wipe there from Flashbacks. But now we head over to Hybrid, which King's Row is not in the map pool, first thing. So Strix can't choose that for their Brawl map. So what did they decide to choose here of the maps chosen here, of the maps they have, Delphi?
I'm actually not entirely sure because they look so strong on every other comp that they ran on Busan. You know, that defense that they had on Volskaya was a little iffy, so maybe they'll choose something that's not against that kind of doesn't play into that comp. They end up going Blizzard World, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to pull off some kind of double shield. You know, theoretically they could run a Brawl on Blizzard World as well. They could run some kind of dive, so this definitely opens it up to a lot of changes for Strix here if they wanted to you know, change it up or pick a different comp if something isn't working. You know, I think they can definitely do that on Blizzard World.
Yeah, definitely. Blizzard World might be the best choice here for Strix. It's going to be interesting to see because Blizzard World tends itself to really weird styles. First point and third point, there's a lot of close-in space. You really don't have a lot of avenues that you can take flanks. But once you get to second point, there is an opening literally everywhere. It is pretty much an open gallery on second point. You can come from any sort of angle and try to flank on the enemy team from any sort of angle. So it'll be interesting to see how Strix want to try to apply that to this map and how Flashbacks are going to try to counter it.
Yeah, it's you know, if Flashbacks comes out strong like they did on Volskaya Industries, I don't think they're really going to have any issues going into or being able to defend Strix attack off the bat here. But you know, Strix again has some of these really strong has a really strong ability to sustain some of the damage. So I think if Strix is able to play their own tempo, they're going to be able to take it. Flashbacks, kind of like I predicted before Volskaya, just played at a much faster tempo. Even on defense, they were in Strix's face. Kiddo was literally in their backline every fight. So, you know, Flashbacks definitely upping the tempo on Strix, and Strix not able to sustain as much. So I think if Strix can play their own tempo, if they're not forced to do anything, I think it'll be a lot closer. But Flashbacks definitely came out with a fire in their eyes, and they were able to come back at such a quick tempo.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what the move is here from Flashbacks as we head into the next map here for Blizzard World. It's going to be Flashbacks once again on the defense with Strix on the attack. And we're seeing Flashbacks on that Orisa Diva composition again, but Strix showing the Brawl to start off.
Yeah, like I said, Brawl is something that could theoretically work here. I've seen teams make it work on honestly all 3 points as long as you get your pathing nice and concise and you're not taking a ton of poke damage. But Flashbacks on this poke comp again with the Orisa and the Torbjorn, now with the cast instead of an Ashe like on Volskaya. You know, they have a lot of potential to pick off Strix on this Brawl, but they're running... Oh, I thought they were going to be running the Symmetra for quicker rotations. It doesn't look like it, so let's see if Strix are able to sustain some of that damage and get in close enough to kind of force out what they need.
I mean, the Symmetra might have been good if they were able to teleport up to that high ground, but Flashbacks had it there. So we'll see what the move is as Strix make their way through the gift shop here, the undisclosed rotation area here on Blizzard World. And now they see as Flashbacks right in front of them. A beautiful wall coming out from Doha just denies that angle from even existing for Flashbacks as Flashbacks make their way to the point. A lot of damage pumped into Omnibot, but the Immortality Field is there from Yojimbo, but he has a lot of healing to try and do. And Kowal is able to find the first pick on the Coconut. That Brigitte now out of the picture here for the side of Flashback, and the rest of the kills are starting to go their way as Thuggington dies. Now there's no supports left for Flashback, and it's going to be an easy win here for the side of Strix, really showing that they can run this Brawl composition.
That wall by Doha at the beginning was absolutely massive. You just denied all of the sightline from this poke comp. You know, the Orisa, the cast, the Torb, they want to have these sightlines on these rotations. They want to be able to poke out before the Brawl can get close. That wall forced them down to point, and the Brawl was just right in their face. They couldn't just sustain because you know, they're not going to win a Brawl against a Brawl comp. So it's, you know, they got them where they Strix got Flashbacks where they needed them to be, which is right in front of them, and they were just very easily able to clean up that fight.
Yeah, but now's where the challenge comes. Point 2, again, I said it's a really open, it's an open canvas, which means that Flashbacks can just stand here and constantly poke at Strix. Strix cannot approach them unless they have some sort of magic teleporter like a Symmetra would have. So it's going to be a challenge for now for Strix to try and figure out how to break this Rissa Diva composition that we're seeing on the side of Flashbacks. As Xeno will start the fight off by separating them even more and sending out that High Noon, trying to get any sort of picks. Won't be able to as Strix continue moving this card. It's pretty much just slow progress here.
Yeah, as long as Strix can maintain this high ground without letting OptiBot get any kind of close to them, then they're going to be able to win the fight most of the time. But it does look like Strix are going inside. They're taking this close high ground. And we have Ninja kind of staying on the low ground. Maybe seeing if they can get an off angle. Both windows come out, and OptiBot's just like, nope, I'm walking right by it. I don't care about your window. I'm just going to keep going deep.
Yeah, Immortality Field comes out from Jimbo as well as OptiBot just pushes straight into Coconut's face. The Blizzard is there from Doha as well to separate even more members of the Flashbacks as Strix continue this brawl rampage right now. The Shatter gets lifted, but it still lands. Thuggington and Kiddo are not long for this world as it's another fight win here for Strix. And they're doing a really good job. That beat, though, from Mixer Kraken might come back to haunt them later.
Yeah, I definitely think they overcommitted with the beat there. It definitely wasn't necessary. Even if you lose 1 or 2 in that fight, they're already down 4 at that point. So Flashbacks has no way of turning that. So I think they're definitely gonna they're definitely not gonna. Wow, they're gonna regret not having that beat going into it. They have this bongo, they have the bomb coming up on the side of Flashbacks, so that beat would definitely help with those ultimates. But you know they can't really do much about that now.
Yeah, definitely. Saki's also dead here, so Flashbacks still looking for some sort of stabilization. They use the drum from Pasty here to try and separate Strix, make sure that they can back up a little bit. Jay Ninja's caught off on the flank as well. He will fall to Pasty. Beautiful sighting there from Kiddo to be able to find that pick first. The bomb comes out here as well from Kiddo. Won't be able to do anything except separate the members of Strix, but Strix backing out of the fight now.
You know, that's why they say Bongo is probably one of the biggest is the biggest win condition ultimate, and that's because it has so much utility. Not only do you get all that damage, but it makes space. That Bongo comes out, Strix backs up immediately. They're giving all that space. They end up getting, you know, stuck in a corridor like Ninja did and ended up dying as Flashbacks are able to take that space. So absolutely big decision to use that Bongo the way they did.
Multicore comes out from Saki here as Flashbacks seek Strix coming on the aggression, and as Xeno already finds the first pick onto Jay Ninja. That is a massive pick already to start the fight as Flashbacks looking for some sort of stabilization. They're looking to continue this pressure, but Doha's found Coconut. How does the May find that kill? And how does OptiBot find that shatter onto the Reinhardt? Suddenly, Strix are back in this fight. They lost 1 to start, but they're still winning it in the end.
Yeah, and Strix is coming into this with 4 massive ultimates. Sorry, 3, because they used the Diva Bomb, but they're coming into this with 3 ults. They Blizz, they beat. They're going to try to just snowball this, and it looks like they're going to be able to. High Noon coming out to try to deny some of the people coming in. Even though the trans is out, they're still able to get those kills through it, but none come out from it. And we just have a scrappy brawl on point at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Facey switches over to the Reinhardt to try and match the brawl as Strix look for some sort of advantage. Doha's still running back into the fight, and he has the Blizzard to try and turn this. Thuggington and Pasty are dead. The Blizzard comes out from Doha, and it's absolutely massive. It lands right onto the point, and the rest of the members of Flashbacks will fall. All that's left is this bomb and as Xeno on point, but that might not be enough. That might be enough, actually, as Xeno's bomb gets 2, and Doha is the last to fall. Flashbacks somehow get a hold.
That Bob was absolutely massive and perfectly timed, honestly. You know, that went from a 2v2 with 1 tank on the side of Flashbacks to summoning another tank onto the play that has aimbot, because that's a great idea for game design. But, you know, absolutely massive bomb. Very good way of stabilizing, and they turned that 2v2 into a 3v2 and definitely gave them the advantage from going in. Taking a strange pathing here, which is dangerous. Let's see if Coconut's able to get a pick. Oh, so close getting Doha there on the boot, but not able to find it.
Bomb comes out here from Kiddo, unable to get anything. Beautiful shield coming out from OptiBot, but now he has nothing. And the shatter comes out from Pasty. It lands on a 2. A good boop there from Mixer Kraken, but Yojimbo dies in the end. It's going to be another reset here for Strix as Flashbacks get the hold.
You know, we saw this on a few of the other maps, but Flashbacks, once they, you know, they can get rolled into a corner. Once they're in that corner, they just huddle up. They're able to sustain. They just play their lives. They dish out a ton of damage, and they're able to win a lot of these fights. They turned a 4-minute third point into 2 minutes. They already knocked down 50% of the time. They could definitely do it again for another 2 minutes as long as they keep this ult rotation coming up. But Flashbacks doesn't have the ults that Strix has. Strix coming in with 5 ultimates at this point, almost 6. Flashbacks only has the window to try to sustain. They have a Bob coming up soon, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get it in time.
Windows come out from both sides here. Jimbo and Thuggington using both of their windows to try and separate the members of both of their teams, but Strix start making the aggression here as you see Flashbacks in that little bit of corner. Ooh. Shatter comes out from Optibot. It's a massive stun from J Ninja. Optibot lands 5 with the Reinhardt, and now Flashbacks need to try and stagger it out, need to try to keep themselves alive, but all that's left is Coconut on the Lucio. He's not long for this world as J Ninja flash and fans him back to the grave, and Strix will finish the map with 1 minute and 33 seconds in the time bank.
That shatter was absolutely massive. That's exactly what Strix needed to get through their front line and just be able to walk all over them. 5 people in a shatter. That's so big. You know, very impressive push, but also very impressive defense by Flashbacks. Like I said, they turned that 4-minute third point into a minute and a half, which is doable. Like, they could easily get more than that if they're able to kind of pretty much roll Strix as much as they did and keep the consistency up once they get to third. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of comps they're going to end up picking here, and if Flashbacks are able to carry that momentum that they had from that third point defense.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what the move is here from Flashbacks here on the attack. Strix on the defense are going to be running a little bit of Flashback style. They're running the Orisa Diva here to start off, which we saw a lot of success coming out of it from Flashbacks, so we'll see if it's the same here for the side of Strix.
Yeah, Strix, Flashbacks coming out with the ball comp. Oh, they changed their mind. They're going full brawl. So we got 100% 180 swap from both of these teams, changing up their compositions entirely. I think Flashbacks is like, you know, this worked for you, I'm going to try it. And Strix is like, you know, this didn't really work for you, let me show you how to do it. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams are able to throw down each other's comps and see if Flashbacks can kind of just do the same thing that Strix does. And also see if Strix learned from Flashbacks' mistakes in this composition, and if they're able to just play it ultimately better. You know, I think Strix will be able to carry that momentum from the attack, but it all comes down to how Flashbacks are able to utilize their utility to get into the face of Strix.
Koala going for a little bit of an early push there, trying to get a little bit of rocket damage, but retreats to the background as Flashbacks make their way in. Now they're going to be taking the high ground, a different approach from what we saw from Strix. Instead, they're just taking the high ground, taking that area away from the side of Strix as Flashbacks start planning out their rotation to the point. And they're going to be hitting the back line. You don't take away every sort of high ground. High ground not allowed. Please stay on the low ground where we can fight you face to face. That is the message Flashbacks want to send, and that is the message that they are going to do here as they take the high ground away from Strix and are now behind the point. Koala tries to go in for a little bit of damage and gets frozen and killed out by Kiddo. And already 2 picks here in favor of the Flashbacks. They are doing a great job in this brawl composition as well. And it's going to be a fight win and the point cap here for the side of Flashbacks.
You know, on Strix attack, we saw how they utilized the wall to force Flashbacks where they need to go so that way they can get in their face. Flashbacks did something a little bit different. They used more natural cover to get close enough to Strix. So they took long rotations out of sight lines, getting into a position where they can get really close to Strix without taking so much poke damage. And they were able to successfully get point 1 relatively quickly, honestly. Strix changing up to a mirror comp at this point, so it'll be interesting to see which team can brawl out the most. You know, you don't necessarily always think of Blizzard World as being the brawl map. You know, there's no King's Row, it's no Busan Mecha Base, but they're both running it, and it's going to be really interesting to see who is able to come out on top in this just pure brawl.
Yeah, definitely Strix. I mean, the last time we saw the Mirror Brawl was not, before this map at least, last time we saw the Mirror Brawl was on Busan Mecha Base, so we at least know that both of these teams can run the Brawl, but it was Strix that prevailed last time. We'll see if it's the same here as Flashbacks start making the engage. The window comes out here from Thuggington. The high noon from Saki needs to be big, and it gets eaten up. The shatter comes out from, I believe, Pacey. Yeah, it was from Pacey, and it knocks Octobot to the ground. J Ninja will die as well, and it's going to be a cleanup here for the side of Flashbacks. The bomb from Kiddo is there for good measure. Koala is able to eliminate Kiddo out of that Diva form, but still, it's going to be a win here for Flashbacks, and they'll continue pushing the card.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I hope both these teams create a gentleman's agreement to just run brawl on every map, because they're so scrappy. You know, it's kills from both sides. It's not super decisive until about 20 seconds into the fight, until one team gets an advantage. But the brawls seem so evenly matched. I'd love to see more of it going into some of these next maps. But I'm excited to see how they play second and third at Blizzard World if Flashbacks are able to cap point.
Flashbacks start making their engage here. The cart moving very close to that checkpoint. And Strix need to drop down. The Blizzard comes out from Azino. J Ninja's in your backline though, and he gets full supports with the Deadeye. You can't let that happen if you're the Flashbacks. Azino, however, able to eliminate Optibot, but Pacey's now dead, and the Flashbacks will not be able to cap this second point for their own. They're going to have to retreat.
That Blizzard really early was honestly a really good play. Try to force them off a point, or if they had to come to point, they would all be frozen, be able to get those kills, but they didn't account for J Ninja having that high noon and being in their backline. J Ninja dropped off the high ground, fell outside of the Blizzard, and Flashbacks had nowhere to go at that point, able to pick up 2, and at that point the fight's pretty much already won. But now we see Flashbacks taking that short, those shorter sight lines by taking some of these longer rotations again, see if they're able to get the point and force a brawl here.
Strix noticed it, so Strix dropped down right in front of the cart, and now the roles are reversed. Yeah, Biggie coming out from Kiddo as well, eats the Blizzard, but Koala finds Pasty with the bomb! Again, another thing Flashbacks cannot let happen. Shatter does not come out, or I thought the Shatter came out, but still, Flashback, they're falling one by one, and that bomb pretty much sealed the deal for them. Strix continue the hold.
Yeah, Flashbacks probably felt really good about that eat. Kiddo, absolutely massive on this diva, as we've seen already, but they're just... Flashbacks just not able to stabilize through Strix ult rotations. Strix coming up with 3 ults into this fight again, and Flashbacks, we've seen this time and time again where Flashbacks come into these fights with maybe 1 or 2 ults, and Strix just always having the ult advantage because their ult rotation is very well disciplined.
So now it's going to be another hold here from Strix. 2 minutes on the clock for Flashbacks to get this second point as the window comes out first from Yojimbo, second from Thuggington, and Thuggington finds a big pick onto J Ninja, but the shatter comes out from Optibot. It lands on the 3, but Strix need to retreat. They aren't able to act upon it because one of their DPS is dead. Strix now trying to hold this point for their own as Flashbacks make the aggression, or at least try to make the aggression here. The shatter from Pasty is blocked. Massive play coming out from Optibot, but he's still alive. Pasty's 1 health, killed the Reinhardt, but J Ninja gets the double Deadeye, but Pasty gets 2. It's back and forth and scrappy as it goes, but it's going to be Flashbacks finding the kills that they need with that Diva Bomb from Kiddo, and they'll get the second point with 3 minutes left.
Scrappy is the only word I know how to describe this match right now, honestly. It's so back and forth. Flashback starts that fight by getting a pick, and, an absolutely big pick on, I believe it was Ninja got picked first by Thuggington. But, they didn't really account for the cart being pushed back as far as it did naturally. So they couldn't even, follow up on that space. They just kind of had to stand there and wait for the cart to get a little bit closer. And Strix was able to stabilize, but the Flashback's able to force some ultimates there and be able to pick up some of the advantage and win the fight.
So now Strix have this little bit of a corner advantage. They're trying to make sure that they can get this Blizzard off from Doha, but Kiddo eats it again! Kiddo is super hungry today, and you can tell. But once again, Koala gets Pasty with the self-destruct. Pasty, that's the second time that the Blizzard's been eaten, and Pasty has died to self-destruct. But this time the roles are different. Saki's gotten 3 on the Cassidy, and Flashbacks will continue pushing this card forward.
Oh my god, Kiddo. Someone should call Kiddo's mamo and make sure that, Kiddo's getting fed, because he's hungry tonight, eating every Blizzard coming out on the side of Strix. Absolutely massive. I'm sure Kiddo's feeling really good on this Diva right now. Like I said, probably playing the best Diva, or best Diva in the lobby right now, by far, just from all the eats and all of the kills coming out. But J Ninja getting Saki early, already getting the counterpart. Flashbacks just being forced back at this point. They don't want to take this as a 5v6. They don't want to waste any time. They just want to be able to get this cap with time, so they're going to optimize their pushes as much as they can.
Definitely. Strix also have Doha switching over to the Junkrat here for a lot more damage. The Blizzard timing is up. They want the damage instead, but Pasty's able to find J Ninja. Shatter comes out from Optibot, lands on the 2, one of those being Thuggington, but he's able to stay alive thanks to the Immortality Field. Saki, unfortunately, goes back to spawn for the side of Flashbacks, but Thuggington eliminates Optibot, and the kills are still going in favor here for the side of Flashbacks. That bomb from Kiddo will only eliminate Koala's mech, but still Strix looking for some sort of stabilization, and they'll have to find another day. J Ninja's able to get the kill on the Coconut, but still, Strix are struggling to find any sort of stabilization as Flashbacks continue pushing the cart.
I think Thuggington is confused on what role that he signed up for on this Flashbacks team, because he's getting more kills than, I feel like some of the DPS on Flashbacks at this point. There goes another one on Optibot. His kills are always so crucial. Getting Optibot, getting Ninja in the beginning of fights. I don't know, Thuggington just absolutely rolling with this damage on the Baptiste. That's a support hero, by the way. Being able to put out as much damage as a DPS. They cap with time, which is perfect. We're going into a continue round, no overtime situation here, no needing 1 tick. We're going into as if it's a whole new, map already.
Yeah, definitely. This is the Thuggington that lost to Ice in a 1v1 as Moira, by the way. So Thuggington really living up, really showing that he was meant to be here. This is where he is going to shine. This is the season of Thuggington here for the side of Flashbacks. Flashbacks able to cap with some time in the bank, so they get a minute, but Strix now have 2, so it's going to be interesting to see. It's all going to play down to every little second here for Flashbacks, as they'll be on the attack first. And right now, they're showing that brawl composition. As you know, please do not play the Bastion.
I don't know. I would love to see Azino on the Bastion here. I think it'd be a really interesting really interesting decision. Really throw Strix off guard. But honestly, we see it time and time again. Someone picks Bastion, someone picks, Symmetra or something silly, and they end up swapping right before they leave spawn. I think that's going to be the case. But as casters, we would love to see them stay on the Bastion and just kind of roll it and see what happens. But I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case here. I don't know about you, Bowsy. I think we ended up picking the best match to cast for the preseason here. It's the very first match of Tranquility being back after an off season, and it's just so scrappy. It's so close. I'm very excited for this one, and I'm very sad that we're already halfway through it. Well, nearly.
Well, not really, because it's the first of 4, so...
That's right.
First to win 4 maps. So after map 4, it's pretty much halfway. As Flashbacks make their way in with this brawl rotation, and Koala shows them, hey, I'm not on Diva anymore. I'm playing the Sigma here. Strix run out with this double shield composition. Flashbacks, once again, take their high ground, and honestly, at this point, we're probably going to expect Flashbacks to take the long rotation to the right. How could I have guessed this? It's not like they just did this last time, but still, Flashbacks take this long rotation. Strix look like they're prepared for it. Big hole coming out from Optibot there, as Saki's able to take the high ground, looking for the rest of their team, but still, Flashbacks once again on this high ground. We'll see what the response is here from Strix. The response, get walled off by Azino. Now you're going to try to push onto the point themselves. Flashbacks take the first tick, but Thuggenstein is able to eliminate the Immortality field. But right now, it's kind of hard, considering the comp that Strix are playing. They have this spam composition, 10 seconds left. Flashbacks looking to try and finish it out, and they've already eliminated Yojimbo, Mixer, Kraken, no supports left, or the side of the Strix. And it's eventually going to be Flashback cleaning up the point, and they will be able to push this cart in overtime.
It looked like Strix kind of learned from their mistakes in their first defense. They got caught out by that rotation that Flashbacks had that got them really close. So they were able to sustain a lot more, get a lot more of that damage pumped out. But once Flashbacks got in their face, it was the same result. Flashbacks just swings onto them, gets so much value from the Mei, so much value from the cast damage and the Reinhardt swings that at the end of the day, Flashbacks are just going to win that fight 90% of the time. Now we see Flashbacks with the window here. They are even coming up on beat. They're taking so much space here. They're taking Strix to their spawn, 5v6 just to see if they can continue to make space.
Pretty much.
Massive shatter coming out too.
Yeah, 4-man shatter coming out from Pacey, able to eliminate 2 already. Make that 4 here for Flashbacks. Flashbacks just cleaning out the point. Doha got the dragon, but was only able to eliminate Pacey, and Kiddo's just, tweeting from the card at this point.
Doing Kiddo things. That's such a gamble from Flashbacks to take that 5v6. They had the ult advantage at that point, but it's such a gamble just to force 5 people into 6 of them, see if you can outwin the brawl. It ended up working out, and they're like, Kiddo, you're doing a lot for our team. Why don't you just take a break and sit on the cart here? But here we go. We're getting to another scrappy brawl here, right on point.
Yeah, Koala also sticking on that Sigma, meaning the Flux will be online. Blizzard comes out from Azino, doesn't get eaten, but the Flux is there from Koala to try and press the damage. Saki uses Deadeye, is able to eliminate J Ninja, but Optibot is swinging away with that Reinhardt, showing his strength on that hero as J Ninja's Bob is able to eliminate Saki. The mech, no, you're not allowed to get a remech kill in my lobby, says Mixer Kraken, and it's going to be Flashbacks held right outside of point B here.
At first, it didn't look good for Strix because that Flux came out, but if Strix ended up that Flux ended up getting flashed by Saki, and that's kind of a win condition in this overtime. You can either sig9 them by lifting them up into the air and forcing the overtime timer to go down, or that's just so much damage coming out from that Flux. But flashing it didn't look very good for Strix, but it didn't matter. Strix was able to follow up on the rest of the damage coming out from their Reinhardt, from the window, and they were able to just clean it up so easily. Flashbacks though, that's a really good push for 1 minute. If I was Flashbacks, I'd be happy with that push. That's nearly capping second point. Strix has to try to cap first point with 2 minutes and push it all the way. Granted, they did it the first time. On their very first attack, Strix was able to just kind of roll Flashbacks, and let's see if they're able to do it again. But Flashbacks not playing the comp they did the first time. If you remember, they had the Diva, they had the Orisa, they had Poke. Flashbacks now taking the brawl to them like they did, that one fight on second point last round. They're taking the brawl to their spawn, actually, it looks like. This is very ambitious from Flashbacks. It's going to be exciting to see if they're able to hold this, And honestly, if Flashbacks dies here, they might even still get a second fight on point by the time Strix gets there. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see if Flashbacks are able to hold for this much time, and if they're able to capitalize on the space that they're making here.
Strix probably know, because Koala went up to the high ground and might know that the Flashbacks are going to hold them here in this small room. You already see Flashbacks trying to make the aggression. Big stun coming out from Saki. No follow-up, however. Optibot gets walled up by Hazino, as it's pretty much just tiny Overwatch here. But Flashbacks starting to fall a little bit. Thuggerson's able to eliminate Yojimbo, but not at the cost of his own life and Pasties. So Strix might get a little bit of advantage here as they start pushing forward. They don't have a mech for Koala, though, so they're going to be without an off-tank here. But still, Strix start making their way over to the point, and Flashbacks, they're just going to wait for their main tank to come back.
Yeah, if I was Flashbacks, I would definitely give 2 ticks here. Maybe have Kiddo stall until their Rhine is back. It looks like Pasty is back. They're going to try to get back on a point before they can get that 3rd tick. Massive stun. That actually ended up stunning 3 members of Strix, and was able to open up space for Optibot to just get rolled over by Saki.
You can call Saki the stun master right now as Strix try to bring this back into their favor. You see how low Pasty is, but the support is still there from Flashbacks, and they're doing a really good job keeping everyone up. Mixer Kraken invests the beat into this. Strix want to end this here and now as the Deadeye comes out here from Saki trying to clean up the point. Will get that kill onto Koala. Deadeye as well from J Ninja, unable to get anything as Strix start falling one by one. The overinvestment not going to play into their favor here as Flashbacks get the hold with 30 seconds remaining.
I think Strix thought that they had a little bit less time than they did, so they were trying to force a win there. They didn't necessarily have to. They have 30 seconds to recompose themselves, get back up to point, and all they have to do is touch. So they have plenty of time to be able to do that, to trigger overtime and potentially cap the point here. And all they need is a tick too, so they can play a little bit patient. They have the 10 seconds, they have to go touch, but they can take their time a little bit because they're already right here. Just play slow, play disciplined. They should be able to come out on top of this, but it doesn't look like it.
Big shatter coming out from Pacey, eliminates Doha. The Blizzard, however, comes out, so Strix still looking for the stabilization. There's a shatter coming out from Optibot, lands 4 on the ground, and Koala gets the bomb as well. Strix cleaning up the point here. Another remake kill coming out from Koala as well, the first one of the match, and it's going to be Strix capping this first point, but with a lot of ults invested into it.
This is like the most extreme game of tug of war I've ever seen, Bowsy. Like it's literally one side will get 2 picks, the next side will get 3, the other side will get 4, and then by the time the respawns come back, you're already getting an ace if you're a Valorant player at that point. So it's absolutely crazy how back and forth these fights are. Like both teams are just taking advantage of every opportunity they have, and it's just so scrappy. Again, coming back to that word, it's the only way to describe this match right now.
Blizzard comes out from Azino as Strix are stuck in this little bit of a stairwell, including their main tank of Optibot, who has to try and stay alive, but ends up getting burnt down by Azino. Doha able to get the kill on the Thuggington, but still Azino able to finish them off again. Pacey tries to go for some sort of crazy charge in the backline, but is unable to get anything. And J Ninja, a massive shot going on to Coconut. That headshot could make the difference. Yojimbo dies to Pacey, however. Pacey is 51 health. Someone heal this Reinhardt, and he ends up getting the charge on the J Ninja. How is Pacey alive? How is Flashbacks winning this fight right now? Flashbacks trying to hold it out here. They ended up losing Saki as well, but still Strix are coming back in this fight. Optibot switch back over to the Wrecking Ball. Then he comes out from Coconut, but he's knocked away from the point as Strix constantly trying to bring this back into their favor, but Flashbacks are there and they are contesting, trying to get these picks that they need. Doha gets rid of Kiddo's back, and Strix looks like they still will be able to keep this card for themselves for now.
And it is times like these where I wish we could listen in on the comms of each team, because it's probably just a cluster of people screaming different things that different characters that they're shooting at that point, or like abilities that they're using or anything like that. It's so brawly here, and I absolutely love to see it. This is peak Overwatch, better than GOATs.
Definitely. Pacey tries to go for the shatter, misses it, but still is able to get the kill on the Mexer Kraken. The Koala 79 is the only one on the point. Doha's back on the Doofus, able to eliminate Saki, but Yojimbo's dead once again. It is literally the most scrappiest fight you could ever imagine right now. This is like if the San Francisco Shock and the Vancouver Titans were playing against each other. Flashbacks looking to try and close it out here. Strix, unfortunately, do not have the respawns. They're dying one by one. It's eventually going to be in the favor here for Flashbacks as they clean up the remainder of these picks. After so long, this fight has been going on forever. It has been a never-ending fight, but now it's going to end, and Flashbacks going into halftime will be up 2-1.
Bowsy, I think during halftime you have to remind me to go to the thesaurus.com and look up some kind of synonym to Scrappy, because that is seriously the only word that I have to describe these fights. Like, it's absolutely massive how back and forth this is. Both teams just using everything into their advantage and getting picks, but being able to sustain at the same time. It's like, it's absolutely crazy. Again, this is peak Overwatch. This is coming from, you know, Harmony tier teams, the tier that people think like, oh, it's, you know, new people are not so good, but these teams are playing so phenomenally well. You know, it's absolutely massive. That's kind of why I love Harmony tier so much, is there's so much surprise coming out from a lot of these teams. I don't think we could have a better match here today, honestly.
I do not think so as well. So far, it's been back and forth between Flashbacks and Strix, and we've seen, really, these two teams are clashing together. They're super close, and it all could come down to what happens after halftime. So when we get back, we'll see if Flashbacks will continue their undefeated streak in the preseason, or if Strix are going to try to flip the script and win their first preseason finals. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back, everybody, to Tranquility Gaming Season 9 preseason coverage. If you missed the match thus far, it has been a close and scrappy affair between Flashbacks and Strix. Heading into our fourth map, it's Flashbacks up 2-1. Strix get to choose our escort map, and they've chosen Rialto. Bowsy here with Delphi, and this is kind of on par for what we've seen from Strix so far.
Yeah, you know, Strix ran that double shield at the end of Blizzard World there, so it'll be interesting to see if they run the Blizzard World on Rialto. You know, this is kind of a map where you either run double shield on attack and defense, or you kind of run that ball composition. But we haven't seen that coming out from either team that much. We had it at the beginning from Strix. Let's see. It'll be interesting to see if they are able to pull that out again and run with that on Rialto. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see double shield from both teams. That's, you know, that typical Hanzo, Ash Mercy kind of, you know, double shield, just a hard poke comp and shield break. But, you know, we'll see as we get into Rialto here. I hope this one is just as scrappy as the other ones, even if they're playing poke or brawl or something, because that's going to be, you know, it's going to be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen so much scrappy fights, from main tanks living with only 15 HP to constant picks from every single side. It has pretty much been the cream of a crop when it comes to those sort of scrappy engages. So let's hope this is no different. We've been seeing a lot of it, and honestly, it's been really entertaining to watch between these two teams. So it's gonna be interesting heading into Rialto to see what these sort of teams are gonna bring out and how it's gonna work into their advantage.
You know, Bowsy, I said during halftime I was going to look up on Thesaurus a synonym to scrappy, and I didn't do that, so I will do that right now. So we have some other words to use. Aggressive, combative, fierce, and ornery, which are all words that I think describe this match going on right now. Honestly, this is honestly such a good one. I'm very excited to see how both teams can fare here on Rialto.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be interesting to see. Again, Flashbacks are going to be on the defense. Strix are going to be on the attack here for Rialto. So it's going to be interesting to see what the two teams pull out. And looking at the compositions right now, Flashbacks, I mean, no surprise here, Delphi, to see them on the double shield to start off right now here on Rialto.
Yeah, Flashbacks hasn't been experimenting with the ball nearly at all. Like, I don't think they've locked ball. I think they may have. No, it was Strix, I think, that locked ball towards the end of the that last map. But you know, Flashback's not really playing the ball. Maybe Pasty's just not that comfortable on it or something like that. But double shield is, you know, a perfectly good comp for Rialto here, especially on defense. But we do have the ball hog coming out again from Strix. You know, we saw this on Sanctuary, Busan Sanctuary, the very first point of the first map. And they were able to do a very good job against the Orisa on Flashback. So let's see if they're able to kind of play very similarly and get some of these advantages to win the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. This hog and ball torture definitely can do a lot of things here for the side of Strix, as they again have this Far Mercy composition, which has proven to be pretty alright thus far, but they have to be careful about this double sniper composition coming out from Flashbacks. So we'll see what the engagement opportunity is. Big boop coming out from Doha. Pasty now sent to the ground, and Optibot there to follow up alongside Koala, and that's going to be Pasty sent back to the Stallion to kill it off immediately. Now Kiddo is the only tank remaining. They're trying to stay alive, but Buell's already dead, and so are they. Thuggington falls, and Strix, really good start to this map.
You know, Doha got the boop on Pasty in the beginning. Pasty was able to get back to their team. You'd think they'd anticipate another boop, but not necessarily. They got booped right back into the beginning, right back into the middle of Strix team, and just got picked off almost immediately. So they really have to be careful of that. There it is again. You know, you'd think Pasty would learn, but Doha's gonna keep doing it until they can't anymore, and they're already abusing that as much as they can. So.
Yeah, Doha right now is looking like a Lucio player on Ilios well, just booping everybody all around the map. No clearance for you, but still, Flashback's trying to bring back into this. Kiddo and Swell have found some picks, but now Doha uses the barrage, able to get eliminated by Pasty, so Pasty finally gets his long-term revenge. But Strix, they still want to try investing into this. Optibot and J Ninja are here, trying to contest the point for themselves and trying to find some picks, but looks like Flashbacks might be able to get some sort of hold here.
Yeah, it's absolutely impressive that Flashbacks was able to sustain that after being down by so many. Pasty again. I don't think Pasty remembers that they have a left shift that denies CC, because Pasty's getting pushed around the map more so than, you know, any squishy on their team. So Pasty definitely have to be careful with getting booped around. If Pasty goes down, that's pretty much it for Flashbacks. But Strix coming in, trying to get some of this damage out, seeing if they can open up with a pulse bomb. They have mines coming up as well. Let's see if they're able to utilize some of these ultimates to force Flashbacks back and hopefully get a a point cap here.
Altibot gets pressured a little bit by Buell, so he has to go back to the safety of his team, but still Strix trying to pressure down a little bit. You see already this amplification base comes out from Thuggington, but already as Zeno has died to J Ninja, uses the pulse bomb, unable to get the stick, but gets the DMAC onto Kiddo, which is massive here. Strix constantly trying to find these picks as Yojimbo's in the backline, trying to find something, but Buell ends up eliminating them, but still, Strix are finding the picks that they need. All that's left is Pacey, and I believe Coconut is in that same room, so Strix need to try and bait this out. The drum comes out from Pacey, trying to contest the point. That's a massive hook coming out from Koala, though, and now Coconut gets sent back to the grave. Flashbacks need to try to find some stability right now, but it's only Pacey and Thuggington on the card, and they're going to get booped away by Optibot, and now Thuggington's dead. All that's left is Pacey and Buell. Bomb comes out here from Kiddo, needs to find some sort of value, but won't be able to here. The remix doesn't find anything as well as Strix still just trying to win this scrappy engagement. Doha helps Coconut a little bit, but he ends up dying to Optibot as Strix still looking for this point. The bomb is thrown out here by Azino. It goes all the way into the backline of the point as Mixer Kraken goes for the res, gets the res onto Doha, but now the Pocket Mercy is no longer there. But still, Strix, they're trying to survive off this scrappy engage, but that just doesn't work when the spawns from Flashbacks are right there and they're still stabilizing.
Yeah, Strix it's so confusing. There's so much stuff going on. Flashbacks ended up having Pasty, Coconut, and Thuggington just able to anchor cart. Doha was in their backline just spawn camping everybody that came out, but it didn't matter because they had so much to sustain on cart that, the rest of Strix wasn't able to kill the three of them. So they were just able to sustain, wait for these spawns. They got the pick on Kraken, they got the pick on Doha, and were able to just come back and win it. I need one of these teams to take a fight decisively because this back and forth is just, it's all over the place. It makes for great Overwatch, but I feel bad for Palsy right now.
I mean, it happens. Rialto is known for those long, extended fights as Optibot ends up dying to Pacey, but overtime here is triggered for Strix as they try to find some sort of advantage here. Flashbacks use the window, but Yojimbo finds the anti-nade kill onto Buell, and Doha's still reigning in the skies. That's 2 kills for Yojimbo in this fight. This Ana might be making a difference here. Doha's able to get the kill on the Kiddo as Strix now finally finds some sort of opening in this fight. Thuggington will get slept. He'll end up dying to Koala, and it's going to be the first point for Strix after a long invested time.
I have so much respect for both these flex supports on both teams. Jimbo, Thuggington, both just DPS players playing a role that can also have the option of healing the rest of their team. And, both of them, we've seen them both just be able to get opening picks and turn a fight before they even start. So, props to both Thug and specifically Jimbo in this scenario here for just opening up so many windows for their team.
So now Strix need to try and find another opening here. Flashbacks are going to be taking this high ground approach through that little window. The pulse bomb is landed by Buell and is able to get Yojimbo, which is a bad start. Optibot gets stunned out by Coconut, and that move from him will not be able to make work. Mixer Kraken tries to go for the res on Doha, but as Zeno spots them out, and it's going to be Strix having to retreat here. Koala still wants to try and invest a little bit on this card, trying to force out some ults from Flashbacks, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a fight win for the Flashbacks.
Yeah, Flashbacks definitely had a little bit of a disadvantage there because Doa was shooting the backline, was shooting Coconut and trying to force them out, but ended up getting a little bit too confident. As Zeno was able to turn around and get the pick on Doha and Kraken and was able to turn the fight. So it wasn't looking good for Flashbacks in the beginning. They were able to turn it around and they're back to having another solid hold. Here comes a Nano Barrage if I had to guess.
Nano Boost goes on to Doha, as you said, as Doha looking for the opening here against Flashbacks. They use the rally to try and contest it. Flux comes out from Koala. Pulse Bomb comes out from J Ninja, lands on the Pasty, I believe, but doesn't get the kill. Bomb responds from Kiddo, eliminates Doha. That's not what you want to see if you're Strix. Now your Pharah's out of the play. Now both of your DPS are out of the play with 40 seconds remaining in the match. Flashbacks get a hold.
Oh, massive barrage coming out from Doha, though.
Doha! He gets a 3K barrage in the backline out of nowhere. Mixer Kraken was able to get the res on him, and now Yojimbo gets another kill on him. Well, I mean, Strix is still in this fight here. They have 30 seconds to try and get this to point B.
As long as Jimbo survives here, which it doesn't look like they're going to be able to, but Ninja and Optibot are here. Optibot's getting one. Ninja's still here trying to get it up, trying to live it up and get some kills here, but Flashbacks just have the respawns and they're coming in and, I think they're going to clean it up. Doha does get the pick on Kiddo, though. That's massive. Ninja with another pick on Coconut. They just keep turning it around every time you think that the fight is over.
Yeah, definitely. Strix coming back into this fight. That's 3 kills for them thus far. Thuggington gets pressured out, but able to eliminate J Ninja. So Thuggington trying to win it here for the team, trying to be the Yojimbo the last time that it went to overtime here for Strix. Koala, however, eliminates Pasty. All that's left here is Bwell and Thuggington. The pulse bomb from Bwell is a whiff as Flashbacks try to find something here, but Yojimbo has eliminated Coconut. As Zeno's back in the fight on the Cassidy, trying to eliminate Panda on the Sigma, but won't be able to. The healing and sustain is there as the Nano Boost gets invested into this fight to keep Koala alive. Pasty's back in the fight here on this wrecking ball, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Strix taking the second point.
You know, I think both teams heard me when I said I want these fights to be a little bit more decisive. So these fights have been a little bit more decisive, but it's still, the one team will win a fight immediately after. The other team will come back and be able to get a lot of these picks. So we're seeing this back and forth. So the fights are definitely a little bit more one-sided either way, but they're just so quick, like so fast-paced. They're happening so quickly. It makes me wonder if either team is having the opportunity to take a breath and just think and try to go into the next fight with some kind of strategy, or if they're just kind of winging it. But you know, they're both playing like Overwatch so well that I don't think it really matters if they have a plan. I think mechanically both teams are just very good at all of their roles.
Definitely Strix, however, starting to struggle a bit. They've lost Yojimbo as well as J Ninja. Doha's Barrage does not get anything there. But Bwell is able to find 2 with the Pulse Bomb. Kiddo's able to get the kill on the Mixer Kraken as well. So now 30 seconds for Strix, and they have to reset.
This is exactly what I mean. Strix literally goes into that fight getting 3 kills, and then Flashbacks does the Uno reverse card, no you. You know, they're going to come back with a Bwell double Pulse Bomb, the Diva Bomb onto Kraken on that Mercy. You know, now they're swapping over, Strix swapping over to that Brawl comp, trying to just get in their face and take another scrappy fight like they've been doing the last 4 maps, or last 3 maps.
Coconut invests in the rally here as Flashbacks need to prepare for this onslaught from Strix in the Brawl competition. J Ninja already eliminates Koala's mech, and he has his Death Blossom online, so he can rain Hellfire on the enemy team if he so chooses. Flashbacks looking for some sort of opportunity. As Zeno has the Deadeye, it gets blocked by Doha's wall, but it still can land on anything. It does not. And Flashbacks still looking for some sort of sustain as Optibot. He just switched to the Reinhardt. He already has 92% to that Shatter. Doha eliminates Pasty as well, so now the threat of the main tank is out of the picture. Strix looking to try and cap it. Optibot Shatter gets canceled, but J Ninja's on the point. He does have this Step Blossom if he wants to try and use it to claim the point for themselves. He uses it right on top of the point, but the Immortality Field from Thuggington is there. Mixer Kraken gets the boom kill on the Bwell as the rest of Strix trying to clean up the point. Optibot gets 50% away to another Shatter, and it looks like in the end, Strix will be able to cap Rialto for their own. They just need to deal with Pasty here on this wrecking ball, and they will do so. No time in the left in the bank, but Strix cap Rialto.
I think the Brawl switch from Strix was honestly so good. You know, they had the Shatter almost immediately after starting these fights. Granted, it got stunned, but that just kind of shows the level of oppression that Optibot is putting onto Flashback's frontline. If they're able to get Shatter that quickly just from swinging on the tanks or getting, 2 or 3 or 4-man fire strikes, getting that Shatter so quickly just kind of shows the value that Optibot is getting. Even if they don't get value from the Shatter, just getting that much value on that hero itself is plenty to force Flashbacks back, to get Flashbacks to take so much damage and eventually just decisively win that fight.
So now Strix get to be on the defense and Flashbacks go on the attack. And already we see Strix running out on this defense with that ball hog again here, Delphi. I mean, we saw mixed results with it. It's a very scrappy composition that could probably work here in Harmonies here, but it's a very tight one to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. But we actually see the ball comp also coming out from Flashbacks, which I believe is the first time we've seen them on a ball comp tonight. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to match the speed and the aggression from Strix here. Koala's going to take a dip, forgot that, this game doesn't have swimming. Koala just going back to spawn. So they're going to take this fight at a 5v6. I don't think it's going to matter that much, honestly. Jimbo's on the Lucio, might go pick him up. Never mind. And we have a pause here. Not sure exactly what's going on, but hopefully it's not anything too crazy, and we can get back into the action here shortly.
Yeah, definitely a very unprecedented pause. Not something you would expect here, especially in the finals here. So we'll see what actually happened here. I'm gonna guess it's something with Koala's ping, because there is no way that Koala could have just fallen off the map on his own terms if he wasn't switching to Diva or Sigma. So
yeah, it looks like Koala had a little bit of a ping spike there and sent him right off into the water, but it's no issue. We are getting right back into the action. It seems like Koala's internet has settled a little bit. But now Koala has that long walk back to point, so let's see if Strix are able to just kind of sustain themselves. But we already have the Far Mercy duel coming out. And as Xeno just gets picked immediately by that by the Ninja Soldier 76. Coconut tries to go for the res, but just gets booped back by Doha. So really good job just denying that resurrection.
Yeah, definitely good resurrection denial there, but still, Flashback's able to find 2 in this pick. Jimbo and J Ninja are both dead here, so Strix already at a bad disadvantage here with those 2 picks going in the favor of Flashbacks. And Flashbacks start moving the card. Jimbo switching over to the Ana, which I'm pretty sure that's probably what they wanted to run from the beginning, but still, Flashbacks push the card.
Yeah, it's, at this point, we're just kind of at a poke war, just in a neutral fight, a little bit less scrappy, a little bit more pokey, as Xeno just flies right into, ends up getting the poke onto there to open it up. Massive. A big hook opportunity missed by Koala, too.
Yeah, Mixer Kraken goes for the resurrection onto J Ninja and ends up paying their life for it, so now Flashbacks looking to try and finish off his soldier pick again, as Xeno having a little bit of trouble, and Doha's able to finish Thuggington while he's busy with that, so already you see Strix are coming back with this. Now there's no support set for the side of Flashbacks, and Strix being able to get a little bit of a hold here on the card.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Flashbacks are going to change their composition, maybe off of the Tracer onto something like the Soldier to kind of poke out Doha a little bit, because, in theory, your Diva will be able to deny Doha like Kiddo's been doing kind of all of Volskaya Industries, but it's a little bit harder because there's a lot more room for Doha to fly around and just get a ton of value here, so it'd be interesting to see if after this Pulse Bomb they end up changing Buell up to something else that can maybe poke out that Pharah a little bit more.
Macy comes in with a dive with that Wrecking Ball, forces out Optibot. The Pulse Bomb from Buell doesn't get anything. Now Nano Boost is applied to Azino as he dips Doha and gets the kill onto Mixer Kraken. Make that 3 for Azino's Nano Boosted Pharah. No barrage necessary. Flashbacks pushing to point A.
That's an absolutely massive win for Flashbacks. They're able to get this point, well, not get this point, but they're able to get a fight win. I think Strix does have the ability to contest, but Flashbacks have the ultimates to kind of deny their ability to touch here, especially with this Diva Bomb coming out early. That's absolutely massive. That's exactly what they needed.
Yep, Kiddo gets the 2K Diva Bomb. The mines come out from Optibot, but the rest of his team is down. Doha gets rezzed up, so it is a potential here for Strix, and it looks like they want to try to invest into this, but they don't touch the cart in time. The Nano Boost is invested on the Doha, but it doesn't mean squat right now. Doha's going to use the barrage still, but it's going to be the win here for Flashbacks, and they'll get that first point and push forward.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that means that Doha is going to be swapping here. It doesn't look like it, so that's definitely an interesting barrage decision. But, if I'm Flashbacks, I'd be very happy about that. Not only did we get point, they forced out Nano, they forced out that barrage. They, it's all in all, I'd be really happy about that cap if I was Flashbacks going into this next fight.
We also see Koala switching over to the Diva now. He had that whole hog online, but obviously the whole hog not going to be of much use in their eyes. So we'll see what the move is here from Strix as they're looking for some sort of investment here on the defense. Pacey gets slept after pile driving. Doesn't get killed off, just able to roll away like any Wrecking Ball does. But you see J Ninja antied, but Doha finds the kill onto Thuggington. But it ends up getting killed out by Kiddo. We've been seeing Kiddo have these Pharah's numbers a lot. Speaking of Pharah, as Xeno barrages Yojimbo straight back to the grave, and Flashbacks getting that res off on the Thuggington means that they're going to be continuing pushing this cart more toward point B.
It's another scrappy fight here coming in from both teams. Definitely a lot of back and forth here. Both teams just kind of, using ultimates, dying in the middle of them, but able to get at least one and being able to follow up on some of that damage as well. I think this is going to go in the way of Strix here due to the spawn advantage. Flashbacks is able to sustain just a little bit, like maybe get a pick just like they got on Doha. They can turn around, come back, and see if they can win this fight and capture a second point here.
Yeah, definitely Flashbacks might be looking for the quick engage here with Doha out of the picture. J Ninja noticeably switching over to the Torbjorn, but Doha will get rezzed up by Mixer Kraken, so now that Far Mercy once again back into the skies here. Flashbacks need to be careful about this engage. They do have 2 minutes on the clock, so it's not in any rush right now, but still, anything could happen in 2 minutes. Kiddo sends out the bomb with the pile drive coming out from Pasty! And Kiddo gets a 3K bomb! Oh my goodness, Kiddo showing how dominant he's been on this Diva thus far this series, and Flashbacks with that 3K are getting point B.
Someone needs to check this Kiddo guy's account. We don't know who he is, and no, I'm just absolutely kidding. Kiddo's been a staple of Overwatch Tranquility for a very long time, and he's still proving that he is definitely a force to be reckoned with here, as he is just doing so much work against Strix here.
Doha gets nano boosted by Jimbo and also uses the barrage. Unable to get anything with the barrage, but still does get a pick with that Pharah nano boost. So Doha trying to keep Flashbacks at bay. Kiddo automatically has his number. If there's someone chasing Doha, it's going to be Kiddo on that Diva right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what the response is. Nano boost goes on to Azino as the bomb comes out from Koala. Doesn't get anything, and Yojimbo's now dead to Azino as he tries to shoot Doha out of the sky, but still a disadvantage here for the side of Strix as Flashbacks continue applying pressure, and they continue finding these picks that they need. Azino will die, but still the kills are all Flashbacks.
Yeah, Kiddo absolutely doing another number on Doha here. Doha swapping over to the Sombra, seeing if they can get a hack maybe on Pasty or Xeno just to maybe open up the option to get a kill. We see Strix going some kind of brawl comp here just to see if they can sustain enough, get in their face, but it doesn't look like it. There's too much damage on the side of Strix. I think this is going to be a quick cleanup.
No, there is no sort of sustain here. Yeah, there's no sustain for Strix right now. Flashbacks going to be able to cap here on Rialto in 1 minute and 46 seconds. That will turn to 2 as Strix get an extra minute to try and figure out what they're going to be contesting up against on their defense.
If I was Strix here, I still wouldn't be very, sad about that, honestly. That was a decent hold. It's only, a minute and a half, which honestly in Overwatch, it's a lot of time, but also in Rialto, we've seen full holds before. We've seen, some crazy, crazy attacks, crazy defenses on this map specifically. So I think if any team is able to slow down Flashbacks here, it's going to be Strix. And, it's going to be interesting to see what they're able to do with their minute.
We'll see what they do with their minute right now as they're trying to plan out their attack. Flashbacks, however, they want to stick with this Orisa Diva composition with that Pharah of Azino. Coconut, I'm getting Coconut. No, okay, there we go. Now Azino switching off to the Cassidy, but Coconut on the Moira here. Nope, now on the break. This is why you don't speak about heroes until you know for certain that they're leaving spawn.
Yeah, Coconut kind of flashed that earlier too, and ended up going back to Brig. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though, because Coconut's Brig has definitely been very strong here for a majority of this map. Granted, they've been on the Mercy pocketing their Pharah, but the Brig, I think, will be very good against the Strix ball comp here. As long as Coconut can deny Optibot, they're getting all the value they need.
So we'll see what the response is here from Strix. They want to run this Ball Sigma composition, similar to what they were running before, except now actually sticking to the Sigma instead of going to the Hog first. So Strix looking for that sort of opening. You already see Pacey leaving the high ground, knowing what the ball is going to do. So Flashback's a very good reaction to that sort of information, but Strix could use this to their advantage. And now that they know that they're going to be playing on even field, they don't have to worry about flanking opportunities, but they don't have to worry about that sort of issue. You see the pressure going on. 30 seconds remain here for Strix as they start applying pressure to Flashbacks here with this Pharah, with the Sigma, with the Wrecking Ball, but so far no kills on either side. It's pretty much just been a little bit of a skirmish. The two are just battling it out right now, looking for that first engage. Very close there with Thuggington falling, but Buell's able to get the first kill into Optibot. That could be the decider here as Pasty finds Koala. No tanks left for Strix, and no lives left either as Flashbacks clean them up very quickly. Doha gets the barrage, but gets stunned out by Azino. Does get 2, but all that's left is Mixer Kraken here on the Mercy, trying to get anybody to res. Won't be able to do it, as now Strix just trying to find their way back into the point to try and contest it as much as possible. Jaden to switch over to the Doomfist as the tanks are back here for Strix. The stick onto Koala doesn't eliminate him, but Jaden Ninja still dies in the aftermath, and it's going to be Flashbacks eventually winning this point for themselves. They're going to be able to hold Strix here with 46 meters taken by Strix here on Rialto.
Yeah, we still have a scrappy fight here, but it's definitely looking into Flashback's favor. Strix does have a little bit of a spawn advantage. There's nothing too crazy. They're not able to touch once Flashbacks is able to focus down, individual targets at a time and are able to take this fight. So Flashbacks, very good hold. You saw them struggle on their first defense against the Pharah Boop, against the ball. They were getting knocked all over the place. This time, they were definitely a little bit more solid. They were able to just sustain some of that displacement that was coming out and a lot of that spam damage. Doha did a really good job of being able to spam out Flashback's backline, but the rest of the team just wasn't able to follow up on it as well. So Flashbacks just ended up getting a really good hold. Strix, again, they could hold really well here. It is Rialto. It's one of those maps that you can get a really good hold. So it's going to be interesting to see what Strix pulls out. If they're able to do something that can deny the Pharmacy that you can pretty much guarantee Flashbacks are going to run, and see if they're able to just get a really good defense here. I think Strix can do it. It's just a matter of being able to be decisive and just sustain some of the damage that's going to be coming in from flashbacks.
We did see Strix get a hold on Rialto, but all of those holds were way before where that yellow box of victory is here for flashbacks. We are going to see Strix back on the Orisa Diva composition of their own, so they want to try to counter flashbacks' style that we see here right now. Flashbacks looking at that ball diva composition, so they want to counter this and they want to make sure that they do not get a lot of value so far.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see flashbacks attack here and see if they're able to just kind of do to Strix what Strix was trying to do to them. They have the Torp turret, which has that aimbot. Not really going to be that big of a deal, though. They'll just survive that and break it. And, now Strix is just kind of bunkered in, and we're going to see if they're able to just sustain.
It's all going to come down to the rotations here for Strix. No one can be left behind, especially not Koala, who's on the low ground, trying to take the duel with Kiddo and the rest of Flashbacks. Goes right back up to the high ground to try and stay alive here, but it's going to be close. Koala once again gets booped off the high ground, but stays alive as the cart nears that golden box of victory. Pasty gets the pile drive, and as Zeno finds Doha, Flashbacks trying to finish it out here and now, trying to get this victory and go to match point here in the series. All they need to do is just burn down the remaining members of Strix. Koala loses his mech as well, so now as Zeno basically has free firing on the rest of the members, and it's a massive anti-nade coming out from Thuggington, landing onto 2, and Flashbacks are bringing this to series point here in the series.
That was absolutely impressive by Flashbacks here. They played very disciplined. They played very slow. They played for advantages like anti-nades or far damage, and then they did their, they forced an engage. They weren't trying to do anything before they were ready. You could tell they were communicating what they wanted to do, when they wanted to do it, and they executed it perfectly. That was very impressive from Flashbacks. And now we're up 3-1 for Flashbacks here as we go into our 5th map of the series, but it's not over. As we said earlier, this is a first to 4. Strix could theoretically come back and take the next 3 maps and take it, or take the next 2 maps and take it to a map 7, which would be absolutely crazy to see that, especially in our first preseason finals here. And I think Strix can do it. They just really need to bind together, come up with a solid game plan, and pursue it. And I think they can take Flashbacks here, but Flashbacks definitely have them on their back foot and are pushing them very hardcore here.
Yeah, Flashbacks have put this car into straight drive and want to end it here. We now know the map. Control, chosen by Strix. Our next map is Lijiang Tower, which based off the Brawl v Brawls that we've seen, Delphi, we're expecting a lot of scrappy play here. And I think it's safe to say that Strix know that this could be their comfort map. They know that they've done really well in the Brawl thus far, but is it enough to stop a white-hot Flashbacks?
Honestly, I think this is the best map for Strix to pick here. You can run that Brawl, you can run that 6-man Strix. We saw them very comfortable on both of those compositions on Busan. Granted, those fights were still back and forth, but I think this is probably the best map to get the most competitive edge against Flashbacks. It's definitely going to be a very close one. I wouldn't be surprised if I see this go 3 rounds, 99-99, both, all 3 rounds. And honestly, I think this is going to be one hell of a map. Even if it's our last, if it's not, I'm very excited to get into this one.
Yeah, definitely. Remember, the last time Strix won a map was the Control map. It was Busan. It was our first map of the series, so we could see Strix take a second map here in this series and try to bring it the distance. Again, it's a first to 4. It ain't over until Flashbacks wins a map or until Strix win 3. So there is the potential here for this to go the way of Strix here. So we'll see if they're able to do it here on Lijiang Tower. As it seems
I'm
like
very excited for this one, and my camera exploded. I'm not sure exactly why, but
that's very
we
unfortunate.
will figure it out. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a very interesting map, and I'm excited to see what kind of and I'm back.
There we go. Yeah, I was gonna say Kiddo probably got to you. I was
Yep.
gonna say Kiddo probably got to your camera.
Yeah, he just ate it completely. That's funny. But yeah, I'm very excited for this one. It's I think Lijiang is overall just probably one of the better King of the Hill maps that we have here, one of the better Control maps that we have in Overwatch. It's usually a staple in most scrims. It's how most people start out. It's overall it's probably the best King of the Hill map. So I'm very excited to see how both teams are able to pursue their advantages here and just take control of it for themselves. Again, Strix on their back foot. It's 3-1 in favor of Flashbacks now. Flashbacks, they just need one more map to take it. But Strix, they can still come back if they win the next 3, then they take the series for themselves. I think Strix can do it. They've been really strong up until this point, and I know they'll continue to be going into Lijiang here.
Yeah, definitely. But you have to remember, the biggest thing right now for Strix is that if they win this map, every map from this point forward is going to be a Flashbacks pick. They do not get to pick another map in the series. Lijiang is the last one they get to pick. So, really, it's going to be difficult road here for Strix if they're going to be able to get it done. But if they're able to play it correctly, then we could see Strix taking the preseason championship. Elsewise, Flashbacks will be winning once again another preseason championship. We're waiting for the people to get into the game right now. We're just hoping everything gets sorted, but hopefully we're get into this game soon because we've seen so much good Overwatch here today, Delphi.
Yeah, honestly, I don't mind taking this little bit of a break. Strix can, kind of sit back, compose themselves, maybe come up with a game plan. And also, it kind of burns Flashbacks' momentum here, just making them kind of sit down. It's like icing the kicker in football or slowing down the game in a way, getting Flashbacks to maybe overthink something or over-explain something, kind of get in their heads a little bit. So even though this is Flashbacks' decision to kind of take this little bit of a break before we go into a map, I think it's going to end up working out in Strix's favor because they can take a breather. It forces Flashbacks to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. We're heading into Lijiang now. Of course, it took a little bit to get everyone sorted, make sure everything was ready in the lobby, but it's going to be interesting to see what the move is here from both of these teams. Flashbacks and Strix have both been looking really good. And Lijiang is a map that can really tend to multiple different styles, especially if you like Brawl. So we'll see if it works out here for both of these teams on Lijiang Tower as we're heading into the map now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what each team picks here. It's probably going to be that standard Brawl, maybe the Sim, the Junkrat, a D.Va or a Sigma, but we're probably going to get that Ryan, Lucio, that BAP gameplay. And, it looks like we have the mirror on either side, except we have Koala on the Sigma, we have Kiddo on the D.Va that he's been so strong on this entire map, Kiddo. I'm excited to see him play this. But Strix has a lot more poke with that Sigma, a lot more spam damage. So as long as they're able to follow up on that spam damage, I think they might be able to just outburst Flashbacks here as they get into this scrappy fight in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really the battle of more protection versus more damage. So we're going to see if it works out here as we head into what could be our final map, our 5th map here in the series here on Lijiang Control Center. Both teams come out with that Sim TB, but Flashbacks are first to the White Room, and you already see Koala using that grass to try and eat up, but already Flashbacks running over Strix. They were not prepared for the amount of aggression from the enemy team, and Flashbacks are going to win the first point, and we're going to win the first fight and the first point.
Yeah, with that Sigma composition that Strix has, they can't necessarily get in the face as much. They want to play a little bit more pokey, play off the spam damage from Koala and the Sigma and Doha and that Junkrat. But Flashbacks just said, I'm not going to let go of my W key. That thing is glued down. We're just going to keep going into their backline. Flashbacks definitely has a little bit more of a brawly comp, so they can just take it to their face and be able to win the fight, which is exactly what they did.
So now Strix take this White Room approach. They're going straight to the White Room. Tyre, however, comes out from Xenos, so they have to be cautious about that. And already it picks 2 as Xenos Junkrat showing up when it matters the most. And Flashback continuing this hold here on this Brawl composition.
Yeah, Flashbacks proving that extra few minutes in lobby really didn't matter. They still have the fire they need to win this. Strix definitely slowed down a little bit. They need to play off of advantages. Maybe they swap Koala. Koala's not even halfway to his ultimate yet. He's clearly not getting all the value that he thinks that he can get. So maybe they swap Koala to a D.Va and they might have the advantage. But they have the Tyre coming out. Let's see if they're able to get any picks off of this.
See, Doha's Tyre comes out. The Shatter, however, but Pasty lands onto both tanks, and the Tyre is destroyed by Buell's turret. Flashback showing that they are willing to not give up in this situation, and they are still white hot, Delphi.
Absolutely. Flashback showing no sign of slowing down whatsoever. They're just going to run over Strix any opportunity they get. It's very decisive, these fights. The rest of the match, we saw that everything was super scrappy. This has just been 100% in Flashback's favor the entire time. They're getting so much value off all their ultimates. Strix is having trouble just even engaging with any of theirs. But Strix does have the wall. They have a beat to engage. They have all these resources. So it's just a matter if they're able to follow up on them.
We'll see Flashbacks down. Need to wait for the retreat here as the wall comes out from J Ninja and Strix start making their way back to the point. Flux comes out here from
my God.
Is that a 4? But Kiddo gets the 4K D.Va bomb to shut out the fight. Strix were not prepared for that, and now it's last fight territory, and they might not be even able to touch.
Oh, that was such a big bomb. That was so necessary for Kiddo to hit that, and that was the decisive. Like, that's probably the play of the match right there. 4K bomb, opening it up. You know, Strix coming out with the flux. They used the sim wall early. You know, they had all these resources. Kiddo said, you know what? You know, you pressed all your Q buttons, I'll press mine. Turn this around, get 4 kills. Doesn't matter. Kiddo puts his team on his back. I hope he's got good knees because he's carrying a lot of weight right now on that diva.
Definitely. Strix now going to be heading. Now we're going to be heading over to Lijiang Garden, and already we see the swaps coming out from both sides. Strix going over to that 6-man. Same with Flashbacks. I mean, for 6-man definitely could be a difference maker here. Remember the last time we saw 6-man from both of these teams was on Busan Busan downtown.
Yep.
And that was a win for Strix, so we could see a difference maker here.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see this one come. You know, Flashbacks definitely very strong on that brawl. The Strix proving to be equally strong on Busan with the 6-man, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to follow up on that momentum here.
We'll see the two teams meet in the middle. No hacks exchanged thus far. No kills resulted in thus far. But Pacey's the first one getting hacked, and the rest of Flashbacks not there to support him. Flashbacks lose their main tank, and now Strix are trying to find an opening into this fight. No kills elsewhere resulted apart from that kill onto Pacey. Optibot draws extremely low, but still no kills resulting. And now Kiddo's hacked. The Diva Defense Matrix is no longer there, but it seems to be a little staggered here from Strix as Optibot and Koala are both down. Now the rest of Strix start falling, and the lack of communication and a mess up there will give Flashbacks the point.
Strix had every advantage going into that. They got the kill onto Pasty so quick. They were able to just take so much space, but their target priority, their target focus was kind of all over the place. It looked like they were taking a bunch of 1v1s instead of trying to focus down one individual person. And, you know, it resulted in them losing the fight, and now we have Thuggington opening up really quick with this Cole. Again, playing a support hero, but getting all the kills for their team. Thug's like, you know what, Kiddo? I'm going to give you a break from carrying the team. You get on my back, buddy. We're going to take this all the way to the end.
Honestly, Thuggington is the first person I would expect to ask someone to get on his back for a piggyback ride, but still, Flashbacks use that coalescence well, and they have 5 ults heading into the next fight, Delphi.
Yeah, we do see a Diva Bomb and a EMP coming up from both teams. Usually that's a pretty good win con for either side, so it'll be interesting to see who opens it up first. And we have a pause here. This is probably an automatic DC if I had to guess. Because there's nothing really going on in the chat. Yeah, it looks like we have a DC on the side of Flashbacks. Coconut ends up in the game. That's a big loss right there. You lose your beat, yeah. You lose your speed when you're trying to disengage. That's a massive loss for Flashbacks here. But if I was Strix, I'd be so happy about that. You know, that might be the break that you need to just turn everything around.
Yeah, definitely losing Coconut, especially with that beat, is very bad here for Flashbacks. But Strix now need to play this carefully. You have the ults to win this fight. Don't overinvest. Don't make it so Flashbacks still have an advantage when they are down one. So it's going to come down to if Strix can identify that they need to use the ult in that fight, and if they're able to use it correctly. So we'll see what the move is here from both teams when Coconut comes back into this. But definitely throws a wrench into this situation. We could be hitting a situation where, you know, Flashbacks might be in trouble.
Yeah, and Strix coming into this fight with 6 ultimates. As long as they stay disciplined, maybe use 1 or 2 to clean this up. They have the advantage. Flashbacks is down a player, they don't have beat. That's a massive advantage for Strix right here. As long as they stay disciplined, don't dump every ultimate. Maybe use the MP bomb. Maybe use Cole just to make space. Beat if you need it to sustain. I think they're gonna be able to just ult pace Flashbacks here and get really good ult rotations. But Strix has to be disciplined. We saw earlier in the match that sometimes they get into the thick of it. Strix just over ults for not necessarily any reason, or they panic beat, or they give off a in previous maps they gave off a high noon when it wasn't necessary. So as long as Strix stays disciplined, I know for sure that they're going to be able to turn this point around. But they just have to really be very consistent with each other. They have to like I said, discipline's really the only word for it. So.
Yeah, definitely. So we're just making sure Coconut did come back into the lobby from what we were aware. So we're just waiting to make sure everything's set. And we'll be back into the lobby here, back into the game. Right now it is 30% for Flashbacks as we head back into the game here. And let's see what happens as Strix start making their way onto the point. We'll see what they decide to do here, knowing that Flashbacks is down one of their members. The EMP lands only on a Pasty, and Mixer Kraken gets hacked out of their Coalescence. So already not a good start here for Flashbacks, as they've already lost Doha to start up the fight as well. Pasty uses the Primal Rage, and Buell uses the Death Blossom, and suddenly, Flashbacks are able to win in a 5v6!
Absolutely crazy for Flashbacks right there. You know, they knew, like, we don't need a Lucio, we don't need a beat. Strix, again, they tried to be disciplined with their ultimates, but it ended up biting them in the butt. You know, I think they did everything they needed to do, but as soon as things started not going their way, they could have invested something else at that point. I think they ended up trying to be too disciplined there, and it ended up hurting their chance of a fight, but they still have 4 ultimates going into this.
They gotta be careful with Zeno's EMP here. Bomb comes out from Kiddo, lands on the J Ninja. He does not have that Death Blossom anymore as Flashbacks push forward into Strix. Yojimbo gets Ajax! And Yojimbo isn't able to get the beat out online, and they end up losing the beat trying to counter the EMP. Flashbacks looking super strong. Thuggington goes into the pit as a little bit of celebration, I assume, as Flashbacks try to continue holding this point. Koala uses the bomb onto the point, and Pasty's found J Ninja, and Koala's able to find Pasty. It's still winnable for Strix as Octobot gets the kill on the Coconut, but Flashbacks are still getting the kills. But now finally, Strix are able to equalize, and they will get the point for themselves.
Strix just absolutely hard forced a win there with the Primal from Optibot able to make space so their backline can, you know, kind of disengage, stabilize, and then go back in. Absolutely massive from Strix here. They still have the Reaper ult, the Death Blossom online here. Doha is coming close to another EMP, and they have another Cold soon, so it's not like they're really at much of a disadvantage here coming into this either. And Thuggington goes down super early. As long as they can focus targets, they should be able to hold here. It looks like that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, great movement there from Strix, knowing that Thuggington was out of position and being able to eliminate that Moira first. Coalescence out of the field, and now Flashbacks have to reset. Strix continue counting the progress.
Yeah, I think Strix should be happy where they're at position-wise in terms of their ult economy they have coming up. They have point. Everything is going their way. Flashbacks does have a Blossom coming on their side. They have a beat. We might see the first beat of the map, and you know, we're already more than halfway through it, so it's going to be interesting to see how both teams use their ultimates here. Opening up with a... it's just a special effects battle at this point.
Yeah, 4-man EMP coming out from Doha. J Ninja uses the Death Blossom, and Mixer Kraken uses the Coalescence. Yojimbo boots off Thuggington as the rest of Flashbacks fall one by one. Strix being able to hold it off with those ultimates, but a lot were used in that fight. 3 compared to Flashbacks 2. Maybe
it looks like we're going to get a stagger on the Kiddo here, too.
Oh,
it's absolutely massive. If I was him, I would just go right off the map, which he does. Strix, I don't know if they had like a middle of the map, you know, pep talk, but they're just coming out a lot stronger here. They still have good ult rotations, but Flashback has a ton of ults in their own. They have an EMP bomb. I think they're probably going to open up with that if I had to assume, but if Strix can initiate first, I think it's not going to be an issue. Here it comes. It might be another big one, and it is a 3K from Kiddo.
Kiddo once again waking up when it matters the most, and now Flashbacks in the advantage once again. Koala will use his bomb, but it's going to get blocked out. He will die to Kiddo as Flashbacks bring themselves back onto this point. They will get that point into their favor. All that's left is Optibot, and Pasty goes off the map, and Octobot touches the point, so Strix are probably still in this engage. They're trying to win this fight, and they know that Pasty's out of the fight, so it's possible here for the side of Strix to bring this back. Well, however, is in the back line trying to get rid of this Moira of Mixer Kraken, and Yojimbo moves on Coconut. The bait from Yojimbo works into the favor here for Strix, and that one mishap from Pasty might have just costed them this point. Strix trying to clean up the remaining picks. All that's left is Pasty and this Sombra of Azito who teleports away. Strix needs to make sure to get this cap point and make sure no one from the Flashback is able to touch. Azito is back, trying to touch the point and make sure no one else touches. Actually, no, it was Coconut who touched. He gets hacked out, and Strix tie up the map.
I definitely know Capital is going to have some words for Pasty on that one. Nothing negative, but I don't think Pasty's going to, anyone's going to let Pasty live that one down for a little bit, because that definitely cost them the point there. Everything was looking in Flashback's favor right at the end, but Pasty just pops Primal and decides, you know what, my team probably doesn't need me, right? But in the end, it ended up being the reason they lost the point. They did, in fact, need their main tank to take a fight. So, that's definitely going to bite them in the butt a little bit, but that doesn't, I don't think that talks, I don't think that kills the momentum of Flashbacks at all. I think Flashbacks are still going to come out really strong here, and, but Strix definitely, has tons of momentum now.
And now we head over to Lijiang Night Market. 2 different compositions now for the first time this map. Flashbacks running the Brawl composition, but Strix are running this Ball Diva again, which hasn't had a lot of success in this series, I have to say. We've been seeing very mixed results from it so far, but if it's going to work here, if it's going to work, it has to work now. So we'll see if Strix are able to make it work with this Pharmacy comp. And already J Ninja finds Thuggington first. That's a massive pickoff here for the side of Strix. The rest of Flashbacks try to rush right onto the enemy team, and they find Yojimbo and Koala, get rid of that mech of the Diva, and now Flashbacks might be able to gain something off of this with those 2 picks that they found. Flashbacks trying to find their way back onto the point, as Strix are able to cap thanks to J Ninja, but it's pretty much going to be a stagger here for Strix trying to keep the point for their own. Optibot gets the pile drive, but gets burnt down immediately by Azino. Kiddo gets the kill on the Mixer Kraken, and how the heck does that mech hit? I am sorry, that is not possible. Still, Koala gets that remake kill, but the rest of Strix are falling, and it's going to be Flashbacks getting the point for their own.
I had a feeling we get into this match and see at least one Goomba stomp, and I'm really happy it was on a Lucio, because that's just kind of like one of the only heroes you think wouldn't ever be in that situation, but it is what it is. We do have Flashbacks that has Flashbacks does have point here. I do think the ball comp is superior in this in this matchup on this point, as long as they are able to kind of sustain Flashbacks' push. But Flashbacks is playing very fast. They're going to want to go right into the back line. It's exactly what they're doing.
Well invested here by Buell as Strix try to come up with something, but Flashbacks already go straight to the back line and find Yojimbo on the Zenyatta. That is a massive pickoff here, and Mixer Kraken is nowhere near to get res. Optibot does use the mines on point, but it's not going to get anybody as Pacey's there to clean it up. As I say that, as Zeno dies, but already 2 picks in favor again of Flashbacks. They are cleaning up this point, and they are using this composition perfectly. Hey, Kiddo uses the Shatter to clean up the remaining point, and that's going to be Flashbacks continuing to hold.
Most teams, when we see them up against the ball composition when they're on Brawl on this map, they just usually sit on point and wait for the enemy team to come to them. That is the exact opposite of what Flashbacks is doing. Flashbacks is playing aggressive. They're like, we don't care about far damage. We'll live it. We're gonna go kill their backline, their Diva, their Zenyatta. We're just gonna run right into Strix. The rest of the team, what is the rest of Strix gonna do at that point? They don't have that Discord. They don't have that DM for the Pharah. They're just gonna, just roll over, and that's exactly what they're doing again.
Yep, they're pushing right in with the beat from Coconut. The barrage comes out from Dohan and gets killed by Pasty, of all people. Koala's able to eliminate Kiddo, but Yojimbo's once again dead. This Zenyatta has not been living in tranquility this entire day. The bomb comes out from Koala, but it's a last-ditch effort. It does kill Buell, and Azino dies as well, but already Flashback, they're cleaning up the point. All that's left is Optibot and Koala. They're trying to get any sort of progress on this point, but it's not going to work when you have no healers to help you, and the rest of Flashbacks are back. 95% is looking inevitable that Flashbacks will win this series.
Yes, Flashbacks definitely looking really strong, able to sustain all this damage. This is where we're getting into this really scrappy fight. Picks coming out from both sides. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. It does look like it could be Flashbacks, but Strix is coming in with these respawns.
Yeah, Strix trying to come in back with the respawn, but Buell on the Symmetra is starting to beam them all down. Optibot's mines don't get anything as the rest of Strix are looking for answers. The bomb doesn't come out from Koala, but Optibot's able to eliminate Thuggington with the mines, but the rest of his members are dead. Flashbacks cleaning up the point that they need, and Flashbacks will continue their undefeated streak of preseason championships.
That was an incredibly fun match to watch, honestly. It was 4-1 in favor of Flashbacks taking the champion, which is absolutely crazy for Flashbacks. If I was them, I'd be very excited about that. They're now they've been undefeated in preseason grand finals, but they add another notch to their belt. That's 3 notches they have, and we have that awesome play of the game from Kiddo there. Kiddo absolutely doing so phenomenally on this Diva on night tonight. If I had to give a player of the match, I think it would have to go to Kiddo, honestly. He absolutely just did so much work on the Diva, got so much value on the DM. Diva bombs kept getting 2, 3, 4Ks like almost every time he had it, and the amount of value that he got was just immense.
Yeah, definitely Kiddo showed up here as well in this match, and obviously I was going to ask what is your player of the match, but now you've already answered it for me.
Yep.
Definitely a good performance from Flashbacks, but I'd have to give my player of the game my player of the match to Thuggington. The man has lived up from being the alt F4 player, the player spawn camp by Ice on Zenyatta, or at least on Moira. Thuggington has been rising up, and now he's finally starting to hit peak Thuggington, which we haven't seen for seasons. So I got to give it to Thugington. Did an amazing job on that Baptiste all match long. And he's really showing up when it matters here, Delphi. And Delphi, this is only the first of many matches we have this week.
Absolutely. You know, and I think this sets up the precedent for what we have here at Tranquility. We have really competitive matches. We have really great Overwatch at all levels. Again, if you're new to Tranquility, this is our lowest tier in terms of SR, in terms of rank, but we still have great Overwatch being played. Both of these teams played so phenomenally. They played exactly how they needed to. Flashbacks comes out a little bit stronger over Strix, but Strix is still a really dominant team. I think this is setting up a really good season for both these teams. And I'm very excited for the rematch if we're able to get it in the upcoming season. And don't forget, the middle of this Trank season, we're going to Overwatch 2. It changes everything from 6v6 to 5v5. Totally different metas, new game modes, new maps. You know, this is just probably going to be the most exciting season of Overwatch Tranquility. And I think we had a very exciting match to start it out.
Absolutely. What a match to start off a very exciting and very unpredictable season of Overwatch Tranquility. But that's going to do it for us here today. Make sure to stay tuned for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we have our Transcendence tier finals in the preseason where we're going to be seeing Amnesia take on Nya, Not Your Average Academy. And then on Thursday we'll be seeing the Discord North American finals where Reminiscence are going to be facing off against MI7. We might be seeing the first sweep in Tranquility preseason championship, or in Tranquility championship history, as all three of these preseason finals have the Nostalgia org to their name.
Yeah, I think that definitely says something about Nostalgia org coming into the season. You know, they took a season off last season. No Nostalgia org teams played last season, and now coming into preseason, all three of their teams are in their tiers finals for the preseason. Absolutely massive. I think that says something about Nostalgia. I think that says something about the tiers. They really have to watch out for these Nostalgia org teams that are coming out. You know, they're not people to mess with. There's a lot of really strong teams in all tiers, honestly, this season. Nostalgia is definitely up there in terms of skill, and it's going to be interesting to see how they perform in the next two matches.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for us today. For Delphi, my amazing co-caster, Boof, our amazing producer, and Finief, our amazing observer, we thank you all for watching. Until we meet again, we hope you have an amazing night.